have some fun tonight. Go get us a W. Hell yeah. Ready. Green. What the Copy. Right foot down. We had to go player. Unbelievable, man. Way to keep your head in it. Holy oh boy. Oh boy. Yeah. What? Yeah. I'm done with it. It's your pace. Set sail. Steve, you look beautiful. Doing great. Ridiculous, man. Holy. You see that? Holy cow. Good job, man. Two times, baby. Yeah. Holy crap.
Hey everybody, welcome to the NASCAR podcast here tonight on DannyBTalks. I hope you guys are having a great day. We've got a lot to discuss after probably the longest Memorial race weekend that we've had since probably 2009, but definitely the longest one since we've been doing our shows here on YouTube. Got a lot to get into tonight. Let's start off with some hot takes. We've got our usual panel here tonight, myself, Eric Eustep, Darren Gilliam, and Jarrett the Iceberg. So let's get right into it. And I got to make sure I know who's starting us off here tonight. It's going to be Jarrett starting us off for hot text tonight.
All right, I need to reclaim my spot on the throne. We got the red ticker on the bottom with that breaking news. That way we can at least let you know about it now while we talk about it later. But as for hot takes, 2 years ago or a year ago, depending on 2 races ago in this historic race known as the Coke 600, I had said that it lost its luster, and I still stand by those words. Pre-2022, the Coke 600 was a shell of its former self because of how bad the Gen 6 car was. Somehow, this car, the next-gen car, has become honestly, I think, the best-performing car at this track in at least a decade and a half. And this track, I think, is vying for the best track with the next gen. So my hot take is this. Because of how good the racing is, because of how prestigious the day is, and because I think there's a huge opportunity to put yourself right up there racing-wise and maybe prestige-wise with the Indy 500, not beating it, but up there with it. The Coke 600 is the second most important race of the year, only to the Daytona 500. It sets up the summer. It's a good way to bookend the early part and the first half of the regular season. And in a lot of ways, I think that if Fox can market it correctly, the racing continues to be this good, and you have sort of this hype for the day built up over time as long as you don't have rain delays. I think this race needs to have more emphasis now put on it because the product is now up to par. The marketing, God forbid Fox could make a change every now and then, should be up to par. And the day itself, I think it could firmly put itself up there with the Indy 500 on those standards. And stay way ahead of Netflix. That's my hot take.
Stewart-Haas Racing's been going through some stuff lately. But you know what? I'm still holding out a little bit of hope. Not just one, but I believe by the time the playoffs start, we will have 2 Stewart-Haas racing cars in there. I know, it's crazy. It's like, what? Darian, do you not see the breaking news on the bottom right there? What are you talking about? I know. Don't forget, Kevin Harvick is still there. He still carries the team. Look at that. He was outside the top 30. Jimmy Johnson for Legacy Motor Club. All 3 of the Legacy Motor Club cars were ahead of Kevin Harvick at one point. And then fast forward to later in the race, he's battling for the lead. So Kevin Harvick, I am not worried about. And Chase Briscoe. Yes, Chase Briscoe. It is not a good look for that team and him to cheat after finishing 20th, basically, to get that. But we'll talk about that later in the show. But before this, he had a streak of top 5s going here. So he's either really, really good or really, really bad. So I'm still holding out hope that we will have 2 Stewart-Haas racing cars in the playoffs by regular season Z. Both Kevin Harvick and Chase Briscoe. Don't let me down.
That's pretty zesty. My take is going to be as red hot as this red ticker right here underneath me. And that's a little bit what I want to talk about. Obviously, we'll get into the penalty later on, but this is just the Chase Briscoe penalty is the latest in what seems to be a never-ending barrage of massive penalties. Some of them behavioral penalties like Chase Elliott getting suspended or Denny Hamlin at Phoenix earlier this year. But we've seen several massive penalties. Some have been rescinded thanks to the appeal panel, but between Louvergate, Austin Dillon, Chase Briscoe, just the latest, it feels never ending. In my opinion, my hot take is that NASCAR teams are killing their argument against NASCAR. with the whole media rights negotiations continuing, the teams keep saying, hey, we need more money. We need more money. This business model is not profitable. NASCAR this whole time has been lobbying for a cost cap. I think they're telling the teams, hey, no, our model is profitable. You bozos just keep spending way too much money trying to cheat. The whole point of this next gen car was to eliminate any gray area. There's no more gray area. It's black and white. Either you mess with the spec car or you didn't. And the teams just refuse to accept this culture change, and they're killing their own argument. So I think at the end of the day, when the next media rights deal or the next agreement gets signed, probably later this summer or later this year, I think the teams are going to have to make more concessions than they wanted to, because they're killing their argument by overspending and cheating on a near weekly basis.
All right. My hot take for this one is, in a season that has just been absolutely crazy for this guy, Denny Hamlin seems to, every week, we talk about Ross Chastain being in the news every week. He is in the news every week, it feels like, himself. Whether it's run-ins with Ross Chastain, whether it's run-ins with Chase Elliott, somehow, some way, he's going to find his way to be in the spotlight, it feels like. And not to mention, he's got his own podcast now where he's always got to have something to say about it. I feel like it's just going to line up this year, that this is going to be the season he finally wins a championship, because what else would be better for a guy who's making headlines in all sorts of ways this season? I'm feeling like this could finally be the year. Hamlin, with all the spotlight on him from everything, will somehow end up the champion this year. That's my hot take. I think he's going to win it this year.
That might be the winner.
Yeah, that might be the winner.
The driver who typically falters under pressure has put more pressure on himself than ever
to
before
win
this
the
year.
championship. Yeah, dude, there could be a lot of legacy on the line there when you put it like that.
Dang it, I just realized I spelled
Darren.
I spelled Darren. Hey, Darren.
Hey, Darren.
Dang, I really thought I would win. They're still going for Eric on that one.
Wow. Okay.
Ooh, I might finally have one, boys. I don't know.
Still early. Yeah.
Maybe we have a lot of Hamlin fans in the chat, and they don't think your take was that hot, Danny.
No. Here we go.
Somehow we found all the Denny Hamlin fans.
There
they go.
I'm going to say this. Anyone ever saying Denny Hamlin will win the championship at this point is saying a hot take.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, I agree.
This man is he's like disliked version of Mark Martin. Except not as, Mark Martin-ish. Anyway.
But I mean, who could say that they don't think Denny Hamlin could never win a championship?
He's cursed, man. All that luck went to the Daytona 500.
Jarrett would probably argue that he is the Vikings of NASCAR.
Nah.
What would you say he is?
Because the Vikings don't make the big game anymore.
Damn. So he's a little better than the Vikings.
Yeah, I won't go. I won't go that far.
Yeah, I was about to say. Wait.
I don't know. We can discuss this as we go. We got a race weekend to talk about, and the longest damn race weekend ever.
Yeah, it was crazy weekend, definitely.
Yeah, so let's get into that. The Coca-Cola 600. Let it not be forgotten, underneath all the Chase Elliott, Corey Lajoie, Carson Hocevar, Denny Hamlin stuff, Ryan Blaney finally won. He actually showed he can do something again. This is his first win at Charlotte, not on the Roval configuration too.
Can I admit something? Until the final restart, where he just drove away from the rest of the field, right? I wasn't buying it. And what I mean by that, it felt
like Byron's race.
Yeah, look, and what I mean by that is, we know how talented he is, but you also know how unlucky him and that 12 team can be. Yep. I mean, in our freaking fantasy league, or at least in I believe the BFM second fantasy league, there's somebody who's a championship contender with the name of, oh no, we suck again, Ryan Blaney's pit crew. That's not by accident. It's no coincidence, man. That team has been known to falter under pressure and just at some of the most critical points of the race, and so was Ryan Blaney at times. So I was not buying it. I was like, okay, he's dominant for now, but it's the Coke 600. It's still early on. Let me see if he's there at the very end. And on that final restart, man, he just drove off, and I was like, oh, he's gonna win. He's Casey Kane for real. So the Casey Kane comparisons were real. He joins him as a Coke 600 winner. So that's awesome. Good for that team, man.
I'll say this though, for me, this is I'm most impressed by this win than any of his wins.
I agree,
because I would say the only one that I could say I was impressed by before was when he held off Harvick and Kyle Busch at Pocono. But at this
was that his first win, right?
That was his first win. That was 6 years ago. I would say this one's more impressive, though, because this is the first time in his career that isn't a super speedway. And I don't even know if he did it at the super speedways he won, or a non-550 race, because those were all of his wins were crazy wins, super speedways, 550 wins, and then that one at the start. But this is the first race I've seen where throughout the race, I disagree with you guys. I thought he was the guy to beat the entire time. I thought it was his race. No. And he put together probably the strongest run of his career. Now, it is one race versus, 200-300 starts before this or however many. So I'm not going to go off and say right away that I think it's a changing of the guard. But this is definitely a huge point. This is a big crossroad point where he can change the narrative and go from the Casey Kane that's a little more consistent to the championship contender all of us are waiting for him to be. Because he is, if you look from 2017 to today, or last year, he has finished between 7th and 10th in points every year, always in that range. He has also, in the last 5 years, had, I believe, 11 or 12 top fives. He's had between 16 and 20 top tens. He is the definition of consistency. Now he needs to build on it. And at this point, like with this kind of win, it does feel like a win that could change that narrative moving forward.
Yeah, I just want to see where he's at, like just, I don't know, 5, just 9 or 10 races from now and stuff before I, because we've seen him, win races before and stuff like that. But I mean, this one did feel so much different because I mean, he was a true contender from start to finish. I just thought something was just going to happen to him, whether it's a team or
Byron's
just himself.
Byron's pit crew was gaining 3 spots on pit road every cycle, partially because they were fast, but largely because that pit box was overpowered. And so like Byron would fall back to 3rd, but get the lead in the very next restart. And Blaney would have to pass him again and again. I don't know how many green flag passes for the lead we had. It might have set a new Charlotte record. I wouldn't be surprised. But to your point earlier, Jared, I agree. This could, depending on how Blaney goes from here, this could be looked at as a turning point in his career because, I mean, you took a lot of the words out of my mouth. A lot of fluky wins. Let's just say it. Charlotte Roval, fluky win. A couple of photo finishes on super speedway tracks, kind of fluky wins. He's a great super speedway racer. Don't get me wrong. Kind of fluky. He's been close to the Daytona 500 a couple times, come up short. Like Kyle Petty said, he's often there, but there's some unfulfilled potential. This could be a turning point, though, because what impressed me the most, not only that he led a bunch of laps start to finish, won a stage, he was there the whole time, but that he drastically outran his other Penske teammates. Like Joey Logano was a 15th place car. I know he was up in the top 5 briefly, thanks in part to pit strategy, and he stayed up there a little while because of clean air. But ultimately, when it was all said and done, Joey Logano was a 10th to 15th place car. Austin Cindric was a 10th to 15th place car. Ryan Blaney was obviously a top 5 car, but he made the most of it. So I guess not only in the case of Blaney, but just that whole 12 team, I'm very impressed, especially when you compare them to Penske and even other Fords. I guess Brad was a top 5, maybe a top 8 car. Busher was probably top 10, but it was basically that. It was Blaney, RFK, the rest of Ford. I mean, that's impressive that they just went out there and won on an intermediate. Ford, their only cup win this year was Joey Logano at Atlanta Super Speedway. So, I mean, this is also potentially a turning point for Ford, we could even say.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I'm watching the way that the ticker's rolling with the finishing results. There's Busher and the other one in the top 10 was Zane Smith in the 38.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
How about Zane Smith, man? Just
Hey, I had him as my underdog.
Yeah, and shout out to 2311, y'all. I mean, 2311's really turned the corner, both teams this year. Because, like, that was always the narrative because the first 2 years, they get off to a slow start. And then once they got it together, it was basically too little too late as far as getting in on points. But Bubba Wallace 4th and Tyler Reddick 5th. And what was crazy was Bubba Wallace had another interesting day where he was like a lap down at one point. Him and Eric Almirola had a very interesting exchange. And then all of a sudden, towards the end of the race, I mean, he just stayed with it. He stayed with it. And that was one of the knocks on him. Last year was like, it felt like he would give up in these races last year, but he stayed with it. And they ended up getting a top 5 in the end.
Can we talk about that for a minute? Like, we don't know all the details, so it's hard to judge necessarily what exactly went down. But, from what it sounded like is that, at least on pit road, Bubba, when they got talking to each other after the initial stuff on the track, Bubba had cussed at him and he pushed him.
Yeah.
Which I want to say now, NASCAR fans, stop calling that a fight. That is not a fight. That is a
Y'all,
shove.
y'all gotta remember,
Altercation.
Yes.
See, they grew up on these videos on here that basically was like titled NASCAR fights, but it was really just shoves. So like they gotta, we gotta separate them in different categories. But so
that surprised me though that Almirola lashed out like that.
No. So I want to add something just really quick. So I forgot about this. So everyone remembers like 2017 after Almirola got hurt, Bubba Wallace replaced him.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I had completely forgotten about this story. So NASCAR reporter Daniel McFadden had tweeted about this during the break, and he was like, apparently what happened was, I guess after Bubba Wallace had gotten that job, I guess he had gotten a very unfriendly text from Almirola about it. So they weren't really, I guess, like the best of buds over there, I guess, in their brief time together. But
weird.
Yeah, so I guess like there was some history there. So I guess like going up, I guess what happened was what led to that altercation on pit lane was they were racing for the lucky dog spot. And I guess Bubba had really kind of, shoved his way in, or I guess, they were just racing hard, I guess. And I guess Eric Almirola was, asking him.
Denny Hamlin shed some light on his podcast. Well, Eric Almirola said it as well, and I think Hamlin sort of backed it up, was that Bubba flipped him off while they were racing. He put his hand out his car and flipped him off. Yeah, and Denny, credit to Denny here, objective Denny Hamlin called out his driver Bubba, said, hey, that's childish. You need to stop doing it. Other people who are doing it need to stop doing it. Like, keep your finger in your car. He said it, and I agree with him. Bubba's had a good streak going. You just talked about it. 4 straight top fives. He's best positioned in points he's been at this point in the season ever by far. Don't mess up that momentum. Don't do anything to make someone mad. Don't be childish. Like the middle finger last week to his buddy behind the camera. Yeah. That's stupid. What are you doing? Like,
you would think after everyone crying last week that you would learn to stop giving the one finger salute.
Exactly.
Well, I think that's a young driver thing too, because I've heard a lot of drivers.
He's not even that young anymore. He's like in his 30s,
but
right?
He's still part of that. Like he's that group of like him, Chase, Blaney. I'm not saying all of them do that, but I remember listening to Dale Jr. download at one point, and Jr. was talking about it, how he's like when you hit your 40s, like a switch flips, and all of a sudden you cannot stand being flipped off. And he started bringing up like these young drivers just flip them off, and the older ones get mad about it, and he's like, I didn't get it. Then a young driver flipped me off, and I got pissed about it. And it's like maybe that's a similar thing with it too. But
like I just said too, like
not gonna lie.
And like I just said too, there's a history between the two, I guess. They don't really like each other anyway. So I was just like, yeah, like F you, I guess. But I agree though, Eric. Like, yeah, just you got all these, you're running great. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to do something like that every week. You know what I mean? You don't gotta do all that.
Well, but I'll defend him and say
not be there every time.
I'll defend him and at least say that yeah, like the Almirola deal happened before halfway. Bubba came back to finish top 5.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember which one of you guys said that a moment ago, but like
I did.
Yeah, I think Darian said he persevered still and put that behind him, put that in the rear view, kept his focus, didn't lose his cool, which he's done in the past, and got a great result. Like that, I don't like the middle finger. I don't know if I would go up and shove a guy for it, but I also have never really been flipped off, so I can't say. But I at least applaud Bubba for keeping his cool and getting a good result still for his team.
Well, and now he is 15th in the standings, almost a full because of the penalty too, but he's still almost a full race over 17th place Ty Gibbs now.
Yeah, so, obviously the best start of his career. And really quick shout out to Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Like ever since the Daytona 500 win, like, I mean, that team's really been consistent, man. Like, I mean, they got P7 and they were out there. Like, I mean, I know they had some strategy help and stuff, but I mean, on the long runs too. I mean, I saw them Lois was like maybe top 15, maybe top 20. Like they're very competitive this year. I like the program.
Side note, just wanted to say I got the hot take. Eric second, Darren third, and Jared fourth.
Well, I want to point something out about Stenhouse here. He is one of only 3 drivers this year who has run every race and not DNF'd in one of them. Now Stenhouse last year had, I believe, like 10 DNFs.
That's shocking. Wait, is that a true stat?
It's I've been keeping track. Here are the other 2 drivers: Corey Lajoie and Ryan Blaney.
Oh wow,
I believe that. Holy moly, now, no DNFs.
Looking at the driver who's at least in this top bunch, because I only have I think the top 30 or so, but that's run all the races and DNF the most. He just had his 6th DNF at Charlotte. Kyle Larson.
Checkers
and he
records.
Completely lost. He ran out of talent in that corner. There's no other way to put it.
Ryan Newman 2003 would like to have a word with Kyle Larson 2023. Well, something about these
Stenhouse
3 seasons, man.
Stenhouse only has 1 finish outside the top 25, and it was a 35th at Richmond. And I don't remember what happened. Did he get caught up in a wreck?
No,
maybe something happened
early
there.
on. I think he had a mechanical issue, but he was like running top 10 in that race
Oh,
too.
yeah.
He has been solid this year, and nobody wants to. He's ahead of Logano in points.
Oh my god! If I take that race out, he's finished top 20 every race since Vegas.
Yeah.
He heard everyone saying that he was wasting a playoff spot, and he took that personally.
He's been impressive. No, I mean, Ricky deserves, and JTG Doherty, whatever they did, maybe they took that Daytona 500 money, put it to good use. I don't know.
I mean,
they've turned a corner this year.
I mean, they talked about bringing in some new people this year and stuff. And I mean, in the Daytona 500 press conference or whatever.
It feels like they've taken Legacy's spot in the Chevrolet run.
Well,
because remember, this was Eric Jones last year who couldn't get, different things would happen. He'd get caught up in something, bad pitch strategy. Lug nut wouldn't come off for 10 laps, whatever. But Jones was running like this last year, and now Stenhouse is run. But Stenhouse honestly is better than that team was a year ago.
He's a little better than Jones was.
That's actually a perfect segue. Can we talk about Legacy Motor Club? That was crazy. That was like one of the craziest.
Blue Jimmy fan, close your ears.
Oh, and also Michael Moobs too, aka Michael Moobs.
So I want to give a little story time here. So we all know, Michael Roots is a big Jimmy Johnson fan, rooting for Legacy as Jimmy Johnson's team. I got to deliver the news on all three of them going out in like the same lap onto his stream, and he's like, "No, did Darian put you up to this?" I'm like, "No. It's true. They are imploding."
Like they all did it at the same time too. It's crazy.
Why is it feeling like they're gonna get a 2007 Dale Jr. treatment from Chevy now?
Well, I mean, can you blame? I mean, like, look, Jimmy Johnson announced this move so early in the season. That's why I was kind of like, okay, so this season was basically a wash from the start, right? Because those things don't just happen overnight.
I have a feeling Chevy would know about that, though, even if he didn't announce it to the public.
Yeah, but also too, like this whole thing was like basically a freak deal, I guess. The 42 and the 43 ran over the same piece of like debris or something.
Jones
like that.
was running well. I watched him. He drove up to 10th or 11th before this incident.
And then later in the race, Noah Gregson and Jimmy Johnson sort of made contact there, or I can't remember. How it happened.
Jimmy came up into Gregson, and they both got pinched in the wall. Or like
he just cleared himself.
I got some heat because I had put, that Jimmy Johnson from 2018 to the modern day is a legacy of failure. And
he is.
I'm sorry, Jimmy.
Strong words.
Jimmy stayed too damn. He made the cardinal sin that the Labonte brothers made, and that Richard Petty made, and so many other greats made. He stayed too long. Like, just retire. You like it's not like. I hate like this narrative. There's this narrative back and forth, like appreciate greatness even if he's not running as well. I'm like, I'm sorry, if I'm going to see Jimmy Johnson race, I want to see Jimmy Johnson be great. And I'm sorry, Jimmy Johnson's not great anymore. Ever since Pocono 2017, he's been the same driver.
And now it's unfortunately started the narrative like amongst the Johnson haters and stuff like, oh, well, look at his stats. He couldn't win without Knaus and stuff. Well, I mean, to be fair, Knaus couldn't win much without Jimmy after they split anyway.
The twilight of their career. Yeah, I'm not going to buy into that.
Like that's too much. Yeah, that's too much. But I mean, I do agree with you, Jared. Like, I mean, it's just something about seeing Johnson just running bad. It's just,
it would be one thing if Jimmy was just out there running 25th in a car he hasn't.
But he keeps wrecking.
But he keeps wrecking. Like Coda wasn't his fault, but he got wrecked on lap 1 at Coda, and he gets, he wrecks himself twice at Charlotte. And like, I know he had no practice, but he, kind of your point, Jarrett, he's setting himself up for failure at this point. I mean, I'm kind of with you. Like the IndyCar stuff, I didn't mind watching him run 20th because there I could appreciate, hey, here's a guy, greatest arguably to ever do it in a stock car. He's trying something. Just some small gains here and there. But now that he's back in NASCAR and wrecking on lap 5, it is sad. Bro. I agree. It is very sad to see. Like I kind of hope he hangs it up for good.
It really reminds me of late 2000s into the 2010s. Well, and I can't even say Bobby Labonte because he was in lesser equipment. Like he was in JTG before they were actually really all that great, and now they did.
Wasn't Terry in a Go Fast back in the day?
Yeah, and it's just like it's sad because like I actually did start appreciating Jimmy before he stopped winning, and so it was amazing to see. Just like it's amazing to see Larson win this much, and that how it probably was back in the day if you appreciated Gordon or Earnhardt, and now it's like. It hurts to see because it's honestly because now I and a lot of other people who grew up in the 2000s view Bobby Labonte way differently than people who watched the 90s and the 2000s early on.
It's different. Yeah, it's different.
And it does. I don't think it's going to tarnish the legacy completely, but it's like it's difficult.
It does
man.
tarnish it just a little bit, right?
We talked about this, I think, kind of last week. People who saw Kyle Petty in his best days, you know, he was probably honestly comparable to someone like a Ryan Blaney back, you know, at his best time. But we saw him, you know, running very poor.
Yeah, I mean, but here's the thing though, like I mean, like freaking, I just want to call Moobs out again, like Moobs. Like, I mean, I know it's tough or whatever, but you know, your guy still won 7 championships. Like, I'm sorry, you didn't see your driver run 42nd consistently the entire race.
I actually put in there, I was like, and a couple other people had actually agreed with me on this. I'm like, yeah, Jimmy Johnson is experiencing 6 to however many more years he goes on of the Dale Jr. 09 experience, except it never ends.
Yeah, I really wonder, the guy who said Jimmy Johnson should be SHOT. I wonder how he feels these days.
Dang, yeah. I wonder how,
is he even alive?
Yeah, I'm about to ask.
I don't know. That's a good question.
What's he up to?
It's been almost 20 years.
Yeah,
like, that's a valid question.
If someone can track him down, one of us YouTubers should have an interview with him and see what he's up to.
This should be our next video.
I want to also ask you guys, like, now I know, you know, I had went on. Some had said that the 600 is better than it's ever been. I think the race has been amazing, but I want to ask you guys. I think the fall race should go back to the oval. I mean, the ratings have been down for the Roval. It's kind of lost a bit of its luster too.
I said it should last year, and I still agree with that.
Let me see. Basically, the Roval, you know, after the first year of the Roval and stuff, like I wouldn't say it's like it's totally lost its like luster and stuff, right? You know, like the whole prestige, you know, the whole prestiginess of it. But I don't know, like something about that first ever race there in 2018 on that configuration. Like after that, I was like, yeah, I don't think it'll be like topped after that just because of the finish and stuff. And I don't know, like so. And now, you know, with the next gens, you know, the racing on the mile and a half is great again. So yeah, I think, you know, why not 2 oval races? Why not?
It's a shame because some of them are actually taking the meme answer in the poll.
I voted for the meme answer. Just it was too funny. That was well done. The first couple of years of the Roval were so great. The dramatic Truex Johnson Blaney finish. Then was it the next year Chase Elliott came from like 20th place to first to like the final 10 laps
from pounding the wall too, by the way, and basically came back.
Those first 2 years were all-time classics, and it hasn't been a bad race since then. But to your point earlier, Jared, it's lost viewership every single year. It drops like 200K viewers every year, and it's, you know, not. I think the oval at this point is arguably the best track in NASCAR with these cars. So I can ever wrestle that date away from ISC. Make Charlotte the finale one day if the weather holds up. I don't know about the weather in early November in North Carolina. I imagine it can be chilly, but I'd consider that.
And Charlotte is a pretty good sized metro area there too.
Now, I mean, it's NASCAR's backyard. I think it would make for a decent finale if they don't go back to Homestead or something else, which Larson is begging for. You know that.
I'll raise a little extra reckless speculation here. You know, the North Wilkesboro, you know, once they figure out the short track program long term, I'm assuming the plan is to go and get a points race there at some point. And I don't think, I'll be honest, I don't think that they should have 2 dates. Have one date that's special, whether it's points or all-star. They go points. Why not bring the all-star race home, market that, give an extra week for the crews and everybody to stay home? Because if you're insured badass good racing, why not take advantage of it for a race that really everyone can go for broke again with?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so far Charlotte has been, in my opinion, the best track for the Gen 7.
It's
amazing. Without a doubt.
Like the mile and a half, I don't know. NASCAR has like built a car that was supposed to be good at short tracks and road courses, that struggles at short tracks and road courses, but fixed the cookie cutter problem after they moved away. It's like it's a total NASCAR problem to have, where they finally fixed the issue they've had for 20 years. And now the thing that wasn't broke is broke.
What can we sacrifice to get Kentucky Speedway back?
I don't want it back.
I don't want it back.
No, because that track's equivalent to Texas. And if Texas can't be like honestly, I don't think any Texas race has been good. I'll say it was better last year. Not good, but it was better.
Maybe like IndyCar. Maybe IndyCar, but even I don't know. IndyCar is like sometimes
I
like
thought Kentucky's last couple races were definitely better than Texas.
The finishes were good. I thought the
Maybe
racing
that's all I
itself
remember.
was on par.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all I remember until I go back and I watch like some of the replays. And like one of the replays was literally a guy passing somebody else for fifth.
Always remember Cole Custer has his first career and only career Cup victory off of a restart. Always remember that.
To be fair, it was a badass pass.
Yeah, that was a badass.
It was pretty smooth.
Let's just all hope that Chicago is the worst race we've ever seen, so we can get Chicagoland back, and then we'll have another good race.
Well, hey, we're insured to caution. Jimmy Johnson's in the race.
Oh. That's just dude,
it's true. It's
yeah,
true. He's our caution clock.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, at least made a lot of laps in this one.
Yeah, he made the first lap around.
He did.
Yeah, but
hang the banner.
The thing is, before that happened, he was climbing his way through the field. We all kind of were talking about that too.
Yeah.
He did. He went from last to like 24th before the first spin.
He was decent.
Notice I said first.
Unraveled.
Oh gosh, we'll get the super chats later, but this one said, "How would a Chase Elliott retirement affect NASCAR?"
Oh god.
We'll find out for a week.
Is that a
He's that
segue?
mad about getting suspended. He just pulls the plug right here, right now. Oh my goodness!
I'm going to IndyCar. Screw it.
Oh.
Speaking of which, I did see that there's some ski resorts open in Montana and Colorado this weekend.
Hey,
Gosh,
Chase Elliott, say Cabo on 3. 1, 2, 3, Cabo. Enjoy it, man. But let me start off too. I would just let me just like applaud. Let me applaud Clint Bowyer and Tony Stewart for just calling him out instantly. Clint Bowyer was like, he was instant with that, and then Mike Joy was like, well, no, hold on, just
actually, it was Keselowski.
Yeah, and then like they show the replay again. He's like, yep, that was payback. And then Tony was like, and it's pretty odd to be doing this when you're trying to get points to point your way in, because you've been off for a while.
I'm just saying this. I am so tired of all the people I saw in my mentions that was trying to say that Keselowski wrecked them. Like, yeah, Keselowski's like, oh, wow, they got into it. Time to wreck you.
Hey, look, listen, man. Look, we'll get into Denny Hamlin's comments on the podcast like in a little bit, but like, I just wanted to say something he said. He had basically said in a show, like, or he had said word for word that, most Chase Elliott fans are just delusional and stuff. And let me just say, like, I don't believe that totally. Like we have some pretty sane Chase Elliott fans that have been watching, our loyal watchers of our show for years, right? Like, look, I just got to tell y'all something, man. The Chase Elliott fans who are just delusional hacks and stuff, they are not making y'all look great right now, bro. They are just
It's the same problem that Junior Nation had.
I know.
So it's like when you have
one.
The biggest fan base, you're gonna have more idiots in it.
But oh my gosh,
and I'm not
the
saying
excuses.
that all of them, but yeah, it's I won't say okay, and maybe not idiots isn't the right word, but it's like you're gonna have more people that are gonna try and stretch the story out and do that kind of stuff. But no, between the SMT data, between two experts, because let's be real, say what you want about Clint Bowyer, when it comes to actually being in the car,
and getting retaliated against.
Yeah, he would know.
Right,
he would know
reared into the outside wall.
Yeah,
he's a pro. He's been there.
And by the way, that was one of the hardest impacts that I think I've seen this car go through, which I did see. I guess there's been something that's been changed recently to let the car crush and absorb a little bit more. So that's why it looked that bad. But I guess I'm just not used to seeing that car look that crushed. So, but even then, he picked up off the ground a little bit. Honestly, if Chase's car hadn't come through, he could have kept going, flipped over.
Well, yeah, because not intentional. But last year, Suarez had a similar outside wall hit at Las Vegas, and the car looked fine.
He hit the wall 3 times. He kept spinning and hit the wall 3 times, and still never had any crush.
It's just this was very odd because first off, this is Chase Elliott, a NASCAR champion, and we all know his father, Bill Elliott. Bill Elliott was one of the cleanest drivers in NASCAR history. Okay, like I was like thinking like Bill Elliott would have never done that. And then like I don't know, up until that moment, I never thought Chase Elliott was ever capable of doing that and stuff. But and it's just odd. Like basically by his standards, yeah, I know he's had moments, but geez, that was just so out of nowhere.
Denny brought up a great point, referring to how bitter he got with Kevin Harvick at Bristol back in 2020.
Yeah,
just holding him up like that.
Well, look at the 2020 race where him and Logano got together. Sorry,
2021 is what I meant, not 2020.
and don't forget about 2022 Fontana when him and
Well,
Larson.
I thought
Darlington, we flipped off Kyle Busch.
I thought they said that the Fontana one, like the data showed that he didn't intentionally do it though. I thought they showed that there was actually a broken part. Like I don't want to pin that one on him there.
I know Hamlin had mentioned it again on a show, so I
but let's be real, Denny Hamlin's a little biased right now.
Yeah, I'd forgotten about that. Yeah, so but yeah, it felt so out of character for him and stuff. And then when you look at his day, like I mean, by his standards, he was having a pretty bad day by his standards. But I mean, it was still a long way to go. And at this point, you're just points racing. I mean, you can get a top 10, easily a top 5. We had so much chaos later in the race. He had so much time. It was the same problem with Bubba Wallace Las Vegas, just losing his temper, losing his cool, having a freaking clown temper tantrum, when there's still a long way to go. It's not like it was in the closing laps, but that's not the point. The point is that just right hooking in general is so stupid. And at a track on a straightaway that has killed somebody in a similar accident before, much different era, totally different accident, but still,
I'm looking in the corner there. Eric's been very quiet. He's lurking.
Eric? I mean, I haven't had a lot of room to speak up, but I mean, you guys have kind of covered all the points at this point. I mean, it was a snap decision. He had about a second and a half to decide, I'm going to turn left on Hamlin. Very snap decision, but it should come with severe consequences, and it did. I think the penalty was deserved. I will give Chase Elliott fans a little bit of slack. The first angles you see, it is unclear if Keselowski got into him. I mean, it looks pretty clear that Chase Elliott hung a quick left, but to their point, you couldn't tell if Keselowski hit him first. That aerial view Fox showed, I don't know, a couple hundred laps later, finally seemed to confirm that no, Keselowski was not the reason for the accident. But for Chase Elliott, we've seen him get upset before, but he hasn't done anything, in my opinion, that super crosses the line. I mean, if he did intentionally spin out at Auto Club, we don't like that. Doesn't cross a line. Blocking Harvick at Bristol, that was borderline. He didn't wreck anybody. Arguable if that crossed the line. What was more surprising to me about Chase Elliott, though, is that he kind of lost sight of the bigger picture. Y'all keep talking about points. He came into that race to 60, 63 points out of the playoffs. Hasn't shown a lot of winning speed in his time back, so points do matter. He left that race, I think, 85 points or 81 points below the cut line. And now that he's out a week, he's probably going to lose another 20 points or so to the cut line. So he's going to come back with 11 races to go, facing roughly a 100-point deficit. He's really good. He's in a really good car, but there's no guarantee you make up 100 points in 11 races, especially if someone we've been talking about, like a Daniel Suarez or a Ty Gibbs or an Austin Cindric, someone like that, if they win a race, your job gets a whole lot harder. So it's just dumb. Losing sight of the bigger picture. You'd hope that, having missed the last few weeks with injury, you would have thought that he'd kind of have a better feel for that. He would understand how he's running out of races. You know what I'm saying? Every race matters more to him than it does to an average driver right now.
And say he makes up 15 points in this race because of the attrition rate alone. Let's say he doesn't score many, stage points. He doesn't run up front much all night, but because of attrition alone, I mean, come on, JJ Yeley finished 16th in this race. So I think he could have finished at least there. If he's, say, 50 points back with 11 races left, that is very, very manageable, and I think he does that. 100 points now with after this week, 11 races left or so. So it's actually 50 points with 12 races left, even better. But 100 points in 11 races, making up 9 to 10 points on a cut line that is only going to get tougher as it goes. He's in must-win now. He has put his team in a much worse position in 1 second.
And it's all his fault. now, him being out initially because of, injury and shit, total, freak deal and stuff. But I mean, this is totally his fault this time. I mean, it was so unnecessary. Long way to go. I mean, I think he could have been on par for at least a top 10 finish. It's not race winning speed, but still, you just got to point your way in. We were just praising him last weekend. Last week, talking about he's going to point his way in. He's doing awesome. And all of a sudden it's up to, down to this tomfoolery. So yeah.
Well, and we'll talk about it in a bit. He had another competitor for the playoff spot taken out of the way because of a penalty today. So it would have been even easier.
Yeah. He's way out the fight now.
Yeah, he's going to be well over 100 points back. It's dumb. It is dumb. Like, and I
Well-
did not think he'd be that way. I thought he would have better foresight. I was looking forward to him making it up, man. I've been bringing it up every week.
See, I had this take, and I don't know, it was like, I guess, a hot take to some, and some were like, oh, it's pretty based after the race. I had said, because I thought I thought this race symbolized two things. So, like, Chase Elliott is obviously still the most popular driver, obviously, but now I feel like his rep and that popularity have taken just a bit of a hit, and now Ryan Blaney's is up just a tad. I mean, is that fair to say? After this weekend, I mean, because Blaney, going in the crowd and stuff, and I mean, they were like chanting Blaney, like he's really popular.
2009 Daytona 500 didn't hurt Dale Jr.'s popularity. This won't hurt Chase's. He took out a more unpopular driver.
I think right now Chase is in his own head too much, and this is definitely not going to help it. After Darlington, he said in his interview with me, he said actually word for word, he said that he thinks maybe like they should have a different driver because he didn't feel like he was the right driver to support what the team was doing. Well, there you go. Another driver.
Yeah, you gotta be careful what you wish for.
Which I guess we can talk about it since he is suspended. Corey Lajoie getting a shot.
What an opportunity.
Top 20 in points too. He's right outside that playoff cut line as well. That'd be a huge push forward if he even gets a top 10.
I want to know what Hendrick is paying Spire or Chevrolet is paying Spire, because like Spire, they care about owners' points, and no disrespect to Carson Hocevar, but I think they'd rather have Corey Lajoie earning them points this weekend. Yeah. So I think that part's interesting. Maybe it's a trade-off. They think, hey, our guy has a chance to win, get a top 5 this weekend, and when he gets back in our car, that'll make us look good. I don't know. But I think that dynamic is very interesting. But I'm happy for Lajoie. Like that's a really cool deal.
Yeah, and it's fitting because didn't he like write a letter to Hendrick saying like how much he'd like to drive for him and stuff? Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And isn't Spire? They're using Hendrick pit crews, right?
Probably. They use Hendrick engines.
Steve Letarte, isn't he either like a part owner or he works for the team?
He's like a general. He's a consultant.
There's some sort of association. Yeah.
If they hadn't made this deal work, the best options that they were looking at was Christian Eckes with the Napa and Chevy partnership, or the Benedetto because he has Cup experience.
Yeah, because Josh Berry would be out of the question because
they're in Portland.
Yeah,
so it ends up being a perfect situation for these guys.
Yeah, AJ made it work to do both races last year, but the only way they did that was they had who did they have practicing the car that weekend? It was someone else that they had practice and qualify it.
Well, and it was even more last minute than this would be.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, it's awesome. I mean, I don't know what the expectations would really be. I mean, we're at Gateway and stuff. I mean, it's a track he's ran at before. So, I mean, because I feel like the expectations now would be, since we've seen Josh Berry running it, I mean, at least a top 10 finish, right? Like at least the top 10, right?
I think if he doesn't get a top 10, it'll at least be a little disappointing.
Yeah, I would say just because it is a different team to work with, there's going to be an adjustment. But I would say top 10 definitely. If he's outside top 15 or he's running like 20th the whole race,
need to be questions. At a similar track, Josh Berry got second,
and he was running 10th to 12th that whole race too. Like it wasn't great, but it was serviceable. Like I've said this for a bit now. I think Chase Elliott is one of the top 3 to 5 drivers in NASCAR. So expecting him to do Lajoie to do the same as Elliott normally would do, I think is stretching it. But
at the same time, we've seen Lajoie run 15th in a Spire car this year. So you kind of just you get this opportunity, and I know Spire is better than they have them, but you get this opportunity in a Hendrick car.
Yeah.
I think sky's the limit. You're dreaming of a top 5 or a top 10. And, if he runs 14th, that's maybe more realistic. But I think if he finishes outside the top 10, Corey will be disappointed at the end of the day.
Man, what a weekend.
Yeah.
For a race. We don't have the rest of the weekend yet.
We all seem to have enjoyed this one, but the real question is, what did people at home think? Let's talk about the ratings a little bit. Jarrett, what do you got for us on that?
Well, it actually just came out today. The 600 got 3.4 million viewers, peaking at 4 million. Overall, the numbers were down 12% from the scheduled race last year, but that's to be expected. That's actually, for any rain-delayed race, no matter what, holiday or not, is not bad whatsoever. The last Monday 600 was in 2009, and it was down 31% year over year. Now, there was a rain out at the end, but that race, I remember, was up against nothing. There was nothing on TV. There was plenty of time to get it pushed out there. So it's impressive, and both the other major races this weekend had ratings increases. So I have no doubt the 600 would have this year as well. It was, I believe, let me pull out that mystery packet wherever it's at. I believe it was only down about 400,000 viewers from last year, and I think we're at least 100,000 up from last year if this is run at the scheduled time. Trucks were down 7%. I wrote down the numbers wrong, but I believe it was 590,000 watched last year, whereas about 550,000 watched this year.
Okay.
But 3.4 million viewers though on a Monday, and I know it's a holiday. I know the race. Well, that's the other crazy thing is this race, the TV window ran like 6 hours because there was a red flag in it. And so if you're talking about a 3.4 million viewership average for 6, you had 3.4 million people's attention for 6 hours on a Monday on a holiday. Like, people think I'm just kissing up to NASCAR here, just blowing smoke up their ass, but that's freaking incredible. Like, holy cow.
And historically, red flags actually hurt viewership because people turn it off and don't come back. Right. So that's not bad at all. Like that, the fact that if that was red flags, let me put this way, match it is amazing.
Let me put it this way. I know it was on network TV compared to cable last week, but this is more than 1 million people that watched the North Wilkesboro return. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, isn't that great? Yeah, it's just funny. It's funny how they built that up, and then that one has more ratings on a race during a rain delay. And also when you stack it up with the other monumental races that were ran the previous day, Monaco was up, I think, and then the Indy 500. Yeah, and then the Indy 500 was up 2% as well. So I mean, the fact that they were still able to pull this rating because of the rain delay, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah,
well, that was stacked up against it.
A lot better than it could be. And I think all of us going into the weekend thought it was going to be up. I think I'm just surprised in general the entire weekend outside of like trucks and Xfinity because it was on FS 2000. But I think I'm surprised, but I'm happy that all those races were up. It's a good sign for motorsports in America.
Yeah, not bad.
We got a little more though.
Yes, that's right. It is now time for the poll, the famous iceberg poll.
Yeah, before we hear about the icebergs poll, I'm keeping up the funny polls in here. People think that Chase Elliott will be skiing in Montana this weekend, followed up by learning Chinese, buddy.
I thought the learning Chinese buddy would have won, but damn, I mean, that's pretty fitting.
Well, looking at what everybody in the chat kind of voted for this race, we had 54% of people saying that this was a great race. 32% saying good, so 86% of y'all were really happy with it. 10% said it was average, all right, whatever. 2% below average, and then 2% said it was bad. 4% net negativity. Guys, the first comment was short, sweet, and to the point from MVR owner. So what was it? Positive, negative, or meme?
Positive.
Meme.
Can I guess the word? I think the word was chaos.
MVR owner left this one, said, listen to the race on PRN. How was the Fox broadcast?
Oh, my bad. I thought you said his comment was one word.
I thought you said that too.
Yeah.
No, like describe it in one word.
I don't know. I apologize. Well, then, well, there you go. Well, how was the broadcast was pretty good.
Yeah, I thought it got better as it went.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah,
I thought Bowyer was doing a lot of uhs and ums. I feel like he says things sometimes and doesn't really like think about where the sentence is going. Like he'll start a sentence and it just doesn't really go anywhere.
The funniest parts were when Clint Bowyer was like, "Man, look at Stewart-Haas Racing running so like, what's going on, man? Like, what's going on?" And Stewart's just like,
"Don't look at me. I was out drag racing all weekend."
Yeah, I was with my wife.
Yeah.
Well, looking at some of the comments here, top rated one was from Blue Jimmy, who said, "As a Jimmy and Larson fan, this was the most miserable race I've ever watched. As a NASCAR fan, this was one of the best races I've ever watched." Oh, yeah, objectivity.
Hey, but Blue Jimmy, shout out to Blue Jimmy because he actually DM'd me saying like, "Hey, don't tweet about Josef Newgarden during the Indy 500," and I didn't. And look what happened, Blue Jimmy. He won the Indy 500.
And just gotta say this: Josef Newgarden is from where three of us now live. So whoop whoop. Whoop,
yeah,
whoop.
when's the parade gonna happen? But yeah. Congrats to him, man. That was pretty cool. Pretty cool experience.
All right, guys, I like this one. Marshall Griffin and his profile pic is the podcast party bus. I like it.
Oh, it's awesome.
Oh,
Thank
wow.
you.
Thank you.
Cool.
Thank you.
Marshall says, it might not have been as great as last year's race, but it was still a great race, and Blaney finally won again. So honestly, I have nothing to complain about.
Yeah, you shouldn't have nothing to complain about. Exactly.
Let's see what we got here. NASCAR Comparison says, Newgarden on Sunday, Blaney on Monday. Two drivers who have tried so hard to win the respective races for years and finally have succeeded. Just a great weekend for racing overall, and a great weekend for the captain.
Yeah. Oh, especially the captain.
Very true.
Scrolling down a little bit, let's get into the middle ground here. Irex Rampage says, this was my favorite race last year. The sequel did not disappoint. I think it's race of the year so far.
Oh, yeah, by far. Yeah, race of the year.
I thought maybe Kansas, but I'm going to vote this one.
I'd have to go back off the top of my head. This is top 3 for sure. I would say it's probably top 2.
Let's see. We got Jonathan saying this is going into the record books as one of the greatest Coke 600s of all time, at least top 5. I don't know about that just yet.
I mean, but the
it
next
was-
gens
it
have
was
been so
solid. It
great.
was
I
great.
mean, they've been that I can understand his point. I mean, like they've just been so great here. You know, just
Well,
only ran
again-
2 Coke 600s. I mean, but yeah, I mean, still though, it's still it's a long list of races.
When you're coming off the heels of the Gen 6 era, like everything's gonna seem great. So like for the fact that we are getting great races, I think it just
Yeah.
amplifies that more.
We went through the 2019 All-Star race for this.
Byron fan 24 says bad because Byron finished second. You know what? I gotta say, for how Byron has ran in the past, the fact that that's the standard now is pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Right.
A long way.
Like, yeah, that's come a long way for you.
I mean, they've been consistent, man. Yeah, props to them.
There's so many suspend Elliots in the chat.
Oh my gosh.
There's so many of them like that were commented.
There was one. I got one comment that said "lock Elliott up." I'm like, well, I wouldn't lock him up, but I just suspend him. Yeah, suspend him.
Wonder if Elliott ever chanted that before.
No.
The inverse. Oh man. So I'm gonna do the last 4. I'm gonna do the last 4.
That was pretty funny.
That was an accidental layup, y'all. That was accidental assist. Excuse me. I didn't realize that. That's right.
More of an interception, but I'm gonna read the last 4 comments here. First one's from Infield Ike. I'm surprised because Infield Ike usually has some pretty good ones, but left Ryan Blaney still trash. These are the gutter comments, by the way.
Oh, of course, yes.
Ryan Blaney's still
Uh,
trash.
After
right.
winning, bro. Come on.
Well,
bro.
I need to see some more out of him. I need to see that consistently.
Yeah, he's obviously not trash. He just won the
Yeah.
Coke
Oh yeah,
600.
okay, no, he's not trash, but he needs to
Yeah.
win some more.
And it's funny because like Jared had also brought up his like top 10 points finishes. That's why.
David here says somehow Ford got a win. Way to go, 12. That got downvoted. A lot of Chevy and Toyota fans.
Oh, of course. Oh my god.
You film my life with Jello says, come on, man, this isn't racing.
What is it then?
Huh?
What is it?
What did I watch then?
Yeah.
man.
Come on, bro.
And then Josh says, another boring race. Another boring Penske driver to win a race. Gone.
He was having fun. You didn't tear up a little during his post race interview. Going out
Yeah,
into the
well,
stands.
the freaking dude, the stands were chanting Blaney. I'm like, oh, I like that. You know,
That's
you don't.
cool.
Yeah, it's cool, man.
Yeah.
And also remember too. I mean, his dad's only NASCAR win was at the same track in 06, you know, so that's pretty cool. He won there.
That is the poll.
Yes, and that'll do it for another edition of the famous iceberg poll on the NASCAR Weekly Podcast.
All right. Let's get going.
Yep. Let's move into it. Sorry, I was getting a little distracted there by something else. Let's talk about the Xfinity race a little bit. So this was the one that ultimately was the main event of the weekend, it turned out, due to rain. Rained out until Monday, and then we got a little bit into stage 1, and we said, okay, we'll do it later. See you. Bye-bye.
Hey, shout out to Hocevar, man. That guy, that was fun. That was one of the funniest rain delay coverages I've ever
I
seen.
didn't
in
get a
while.
chance to see it, and I hate that.
It was
pretty cool.
hilarious.
And the one thing I liked about it was like, you know, like we talk about like showcasing the personalities naturally, right? that type of thing just happened naturally. You know, it's like he sees Roger, it's like, hey, come in here, and then he sees Parker.
Yeah,
right? So I was
it
like, hey,
started
come in
off.
here, you know?
So it started off as a one-off, and he's just in the mic, whatever. Oh, Raja, come here, and then who was the other one?
Parker Retzlaff.
Parker Retzlaff.
I think it's.
And then he starts going. Fairy godparents. He starts going into the garage. Hey, he made that joke. I can make.
Wait, did he?
Yeah, at one point I saw it's been deleted, but I think he had a tweet where he had put that.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, which I applaud that. But and then like Carson just starts going through the garage and just starts interviewing people, and he started interviewing Sam Mayer at the end of it, and they're like, "We got to go up there." He's like, "Oh yeah, they're going off the air for you, Sam. Sorry,
Yeah,
don't interview. Bye."
And he had interviewed, and then Joe Graff Jr., and then eventually got to Garrett Smithley. And I saw Moonhead for a second, and once I saw Moonhead on TV, I just DM'd really quick, laughing. He was like, "What happened?" It was like, "Oh, I saw you on TV." He was like, "Oh," he didn't know for a second, but yeah, no, I mean, like that's the type of stuff you love to see, man, and especially for like rain delay coverage, because I mean, you know, nothing's really happening and stuff, so we need to see more of that, you know. You need to see more of that.
But I did love the fuel mileage, man. That was fun.
It was cool.
Nice and dramatic.
Yes. For those, if you saw the race, because I know not everyone gets FS2 because it's buried beneath, you know, the depths of your channels or TVs or whatever. But yeah, no, it was a good race. That was a good race. Dang, John Hunter, damn, almost got it, man. Just how many wins does he have this year? Just one or two this year?
I think it's two. I don't know. All I know is this is Junior Motorsports' first win.
Yeah.
Of the year.
Yeah. I just brought his name because I feel like he should have more at this point. But yeah, it was funny because it started off the broadcast. They were like kind of low key roasting Junior Motorsports, like, what's going on? Look at their stats of the first few races here. Then, you know, Justin Allgaier pulls off the victory. You know, much needed victory for that team. Much needed.
Well, and Carson got the top 5 in the race too.
Yeah,
right?
and I had tweeted, I was like, I had seen enough of the, you know, full-time Xfinity, and then now look what he's gonna be driving this weekend. So he's moving up the ladder pretty quickly, and deservingly so, man. He's showcasing his talent.
Pretty solid. I'd say pretty solid race overall.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out Justin Haley and Ty Gibbs running almost all 900 miles on, I guess, Monday.
Yeah.
Well, didn't I believe Justin set a record?
Technically, he did, because I think that he ran like all of like 2 laps, so he ran like 897.5 miles or something like that.
Whoa!
And I believe that is a single day NASCAR record. I believe
it's a new NASCAR record.
That's crazy.
Like that.
But I see Danny put a poll in here. How many wins does Junior Motorsports get for the rest of the year? I don't know. I have to agree with the poll so far. Well, now it's changed. I mean, I was going with the 1 to 3 at first, just for now. But I mean,
well, I think we can look at like Sam Mayer, bless him, probably not going to win. Brandon Jones, bless him, probably not going to win. So it comes down to Allgaier and Barry, and you know, combined they won 6 last year.
I think Sam can get a win. Brandon concerns me a little bit more because he's just not been there.
Yeah, that's true.
I could see Sam Mayer like winning at least like one on the super speedway, because like he's been a contender there and stuff, but you just can't close the deal. Yeah, Brandon Jones though,
I could even see Sam showing up at a road course and doing
but Brandon Jones though, like I don't know, like I expected so much more out of him in that ride this year, and it hasn't gone through yet. So maybe I might be holding out just a little bit of hope that there might be some speed there, but I mean,
it's like,
I don't know. For
years, the 9 has historically been the number that wins championships. That's the flagship number at Junior Motorsports. It feels like, and it's like to see what Brandon Jones has done so far is like just feels sad.
It's just like when Carson Hocevar early on just drove right past him for P9. I was like, damn, man. Like
if Carson isn't in the 8 next year, I'll be shocked personally, because that's where he is who I would put in that car after Josh Berry, which it hasn't been announced he's going to go to SHR yet, but that's ultimately the belief right now.
Well, talking about Berry, I mean, everyone talks about him like he's one of the top 1 or 2 contenders, and it's like, does he really? I mean, he shows up. The
really
races
good.
He wins, he shows up for, but the other ones, he's like back half the top 10 on a lot of them.
He looked really good when he was in those part-time starts, trying to earn his full-time ride. Once he's got the full-time ride, he's been good, but he hasn't felt the same.
See, I just pulled up the full points right here. I'll just go over the top 5. So John Hunter Nemechek, Austin Hill, Justin Allgaier, Cole Custer, Josh Berry. So I mean, 2 of the top 5 are Junior Motorsports cars, but the problem is it's just one bad thing has led to another sometimes in these races, and then they just don't win a whole lot so far. And then Brendan Jones is like, and Sam Mayer are just outside the top 10 too, if you put the full points together. But I mean, I could see 1 to 3 races. Like, I don't know, I just don't see a whole lot of winning from that team so far this year. And I mean, they're so consistent. So.
I think they'll win 4 to 6 because, like I said, I think Barry's good for 2 wins. Last year, Allgaier got 3. Let's say he gets 2 this year because Jerem's not as good. So there's 4. And then there's still room for maybe Sam Mayer to sneak a win out. That is possible. So I think it's going to be 4 to 6.
Yeah.
All right. That's about all I think we really need to say about this race. Seeing the time, we need to talk just a little bit about the truck race, and we'll get into the first Super Chat stage break. I didn't get a chance to watch truck race, so if any of you guys have any thoughts, I don't really have anything to contribute.
It was pretty fun, honestly, to watch.
So, funny story. I was at that's when I got into my credentials for the Indianapolis 500 that day, and David Land and Kyle told me afterwards, "Hey, we're gonna go to IRP and watch Silver Crown racing." I'm like, "Oh, what? Yes, let's go!" So I was watching both that, and I had a fan, good fan I was talking with, who was wearing a full-fledged Mark Martin Viagra jacket, by the way.
Viva
awesome.
Viagra.
Yeah, for real.
But they were hot in that thing.
Yeah, but he was streaming the race. He was streaming the race while we were watching the Silver Crowns. And man, let me just say this, bro. First off, shout out to Rajah Caruth, man. He was P2 that first stage. And then I don't know what had happened, but someone messed up on pit road and stuff, and he just basically wasn't really seeing the rest of the race. So that's unfortunate. But also Dean Thompson too. What in the he is out of
into him?
Wow,
yeah.
He's
good
in the top 5 consistently. Yeah. Apparently, I mean, like I had known him from like the late model scenes and stuff because he used to race at Irwindale, but. Dang, I was extremely surprised by that top 5.
Well,
and David Gillen making his return, I think finished 13th or 14th.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of fun little mention.
Yeah. And then I gotta say, this was Carson Hocevar's race, I feel like, to win, and he choked it away on that restart. But it was just a terrible restart. And I know they said some air was leaking out of the tire, but it was rough to watch that ending where it's like you could tell he was the fastest truck, and he could just not make his way through.
He's been good on the big faster tracks this year. I mean, he won Texas. I agree. He had probably one of the best trucks. Although at the end, when Ben Rhodes got to the lead, I thought it was Heim time. It looked like Corey Heim was moving up there. Was all over his rear tailgate, as they say. But
is that a new saying now? Heim time.
Heim time. Yeah, I love that. But then Ben Rhodes just pulled away. So like I don't know, Corey Heim burned up his stuff, whatever it was. But it looked good towards the end there.
Imagine if Vince Welch were still commentating truck races. It's Heim time.
Heim time. His wheel is steady.
By the way, I don't know if we have it in the lightning round later, but a lot of people are pointing out that Chris Wright is no longer racing in his ride with Young Motorsports.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Well, I did see that.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much it. And also the poll, people say that Junior Motorsports are going to get 4 to 6 wins this year still. So
okay,
so that's only 3 more wins. So and you're in that range. So
yep.
All right. Well, we've reached the point of night where we're going to take a 3-minute super chat stage break. There's been a lot of super chats hit so far tonight, so I appreciate everyone for that generous support for the channel here tonight. Do one of you want to start me off with a timer?
Got you now.
All right, Jared's got me. All right, Urban Alvarado, appreciate the $10 started off. Everyone in chat, it's time to play America's new favorite spinoff game show from the NFL. It's NASCAR's Wheel of Discipline. Finally, NASCAR jumps on board with their own game show. NASCAR's on 2414. Appreciate the $4.99. Darian, how is the Indy 500? I see you are going back in 2024. I enjoy every race. Smart move. Iceberg, is Coke 600 better than Kansas race 2023 so far?
Well, at the first, it was awesome. It was so awesome. Yeah, it was awesome, bro. I suggest everyone should go at least once in their lifetime. I don't know, I feel like no other race compares to that. I know, Daytona 500 is obviously big for NASCAR and stuff, but man, just that pageantry and stuff. Over 300,000 people in one place too. That was, oh boy, that was crazy.
Just don't be a white sedan.
She got a new car out of that.
So. Yeah.
Isaac Chaos Thing, appreciate the $4.99. I know a lot of people, including myself, tore Jarrett apart for saying Truex and Byron would miss the playoffs, but he was spot on with Briscoe.
I never believed.
1 for 3. That's a good batting
average. Hang the banner.
Yeah, hang the banner.
Yeah. Oh, you predicted SHR in 2023 to be bad? Shocker.
Yeah.
Antar Doss, appreciate the 499. Jarrett, I did what you told me last week, and I unabashedly watched Monaco on my phone behind my stand. I hit it pretty well, and no one saw a thing.
Nice.
Sneaky.
Nice.
And our next and fishing. Hope you're doing well, man. Appreciate it. 999. Set up the other night on Jarrett's post race stream. Charlotte Motor Speedway puts on the best racing product right now with the Gen 7. Yep, we all pretty much agreed on that earlier.
I agree.
Napa Racing Fan 927. Appreciate the $5. No way Coke liked the 9 wrecking the 11. 2 Coke drivers in the Coke 600, especially when they did a Coke interview with Regan Smith at North Wilkesboro. That
Oh
is very
yeah,
true.
I saw.
They could not have been happy about that.
One happy family.
Yeah.
Hello, FR. Appreciate the $2. Chase seems super disinterested. Retirement soon. Okay. Yep. Mickey's going bye-bye. Bye-bye, guys.
Goodbye.
Spencer Purcell, appreciate you being a member of Danny B Superfans for 23 months. Simply said, chaos. MA Fire 924, appreciate the $2. Oh, Chase could have ended Denny Hamlin. Why not season suspended? Well, the precedent was set last year with Bubba for one race, so that's what it should be.
Now, if he does it again, then we could talk a season suspension.
One ASA Dad, appreciate the $2. Could Corey? I like this one. Could Corey take the 9 car if Chase still struggles? I got 2 things to say to that. Hell no.
All right, last one here.
All right, we'll end with this one. Napa Racing Fan 927, appreciate the $2. Loved Eric's Rockingham video. Bring back The Rock.
Yeah, Eric.
Thanks.
Eric's living his best life, man. He just goes everywhere nowadays.
That was a good time. I'm glad you liked it.
All right. Well, we are funded by viewers like you. Thank you. And we will come back to that later on in the show. Let's get into. Oh, hold on. My phone's been super annoying. We've got these stupid weather alerts today. I don't know what it is. Darian, are you getting on your phone too?
And it's the lightning round on the NASCAR Weekly Podcast. Jarrett, what do we have on tap for tonight?
Oh, we got a little bit. A lot of it actually showed up today, which is surprising. And it's also funny because there's supposedly scattered storms around us anyway, so it's funny.
Yeah.
But yesterday, I saw that the plot thickened between Almirola and Bubba and Byron because they all went to the Michigan tire test for Toyota, Ford, and Chevy. So I figured that'd be
Interesting.
They push each other after.
I wonder if Bubba and Almirola locked eyes for a second during the test.
Sounds kind of romantic.
A lot of tension built up there.
Yeah, a lot of tension.
Well, there's some tension in the fan base after this one because Bob had tweeted out that Phoenix will return as the finale weekend for 2024.
Yeah.
And enjoy your $25 crap nachos, everybody.
Yeah, sorry.
Hope you have a good time.
Sorry, Homestead Miami Speedway lovers is not returning anytime soon.
Well, I wouldn't say that. You never know what 2025
I don't know. They invested so much money in that track, though. I don't know.
We might race on a snowy Chicago street course.
Get the plows
There's
out,
not
boys.
that much snow in November up there.
That'd be funny if that were the championship race, though.
Well, I'll bring this up as something really cool from a former track that hosted championship races. Kevin Harvick's 2001 Atlanta winning car will lead the field in the pace laps for the summer Atlanta race in July.
It's like Richard Childress just like showing off. He's like, "Oh, I still got this one sitting here. Let's bring it out. Come on!"
And it's like he's showing off in his final. Like, hey, guys, remember Harvick used to drive for us.
This was announced a little bit before the stream. Legislation has been filed to lease the Nashville Fairgrounds to Bristol Motor Speedway and SMI to host NASCAR races.
Yes, let's go.
Let's go.
It might have went a little bit under the radar.
Let's go. Make it happen.
Now, this was something I saw that was pretty interesting from Kelly Crandall. Trevor Bayne is going to be running an Xfinity race for JGR this year, and he was going to run full-time this year before his sponsor backed out at the very last second.
See, I felt like he ran good enough last year to have earned something.
Well, remember, we interviewed him after a top 5. I think he finished P2
at Nashville.
Nashville, yeah. And I asked him like about
I wonder
if
that'll be it, or maybe Bristol he's running, because it hasn't been announced yet, has it?
Damn. I don't think
the
so.
race itself hasn't been announced.
Oh gosh, this is next. All
right, the last one that Darian lost it to. Abercrombie and Fitch has become a new licensee for NASCAR merch with vintage shirts starting at $40, according to Adam Stern.
Hey, let me ask the chat, bro.
$40.
No, chat.
And they're not actually vintage. I mean, they're retro, maybe.
They just have that soft feel to them. That's all they have.
Hold up. Let me ask the chat something really quick. Chat, look, I'm a little older, so I remember the Abercrombie and Fitch days when it was popping and stuff. Like, let me ask, do y'all wear Abercrombie and Fitch, bro? Because like, I think it's a dead. Like, oh my god.
See, I was telling you before the show. I remember it from the parody of it in the show 16 when they called it Abercrombie and Finch.
Oh gosh.
Hey,
dude.
I agree. The Slate.05 YT said, "Who? Like the kids these days don't even know what to do." That's what our classmates wore in middle school.
Oh my god! I found out what the new Bob Pockris says. What you kids need to know segment will be on Abercrombie and Fitch.
And also to add insult to injury, Netflix last fall uploaded a full 1-hour documentary detailing the rise and fall of the Abercrombie.
Oh, because there was like a lot of shady stuff of them.
Yeah, like with like their marketing practices and stuff,
with the models and stuff like that.
Yeah,
guys, we're doing a great job of promoting the brand.
And this week on what we don't like about NASCAR.
Oh man.
Well, that's a pastime for us NASCAR fans.
Yes, and that'll do it for this edition of the famous lightning round on the NASCAR Weekly Podcast. And now back to the show. Wait a minute, Eric. What is that? What is that you're holding here?
One thing we do promote very well are our sponsors, and we do have a sponsor this week. Across the board, you guys. Oh my god, just clobbered the mic with it. Oh my gosh, across the board, makers of officially licensed NASCAR games. Look at this. Oh my gosh, we all got our hands full just filling up the screen. Yeah. This is awesome stuff. Father's Day is just a few weeks away. I think it's about 2.5 weeks away, and I think most fathers, especially those that are NASCAR fans, would love to see something like this. It's handcrafted, made in America, made right here actually in St. Louis where NASCAR is racing at this weekend, which I think is pretty cool. It's easy to learn, fast-paced, easy to play. It's great for small groups, big groups. It'll last you a lifetime. These things are, as you could probably hear when I just clobbered it with my microphone, these things are heavy duty. These things are industrial grade. They're also running a special deal for fans of the NASCAR Weekly Podcast. In honor of Father's Day, if you head to their website, which is Across the Board Game, or if you just head simply to dailydownforce.com, you can check this thing out for yourself. But use code POPS, as in like, hey, Pops, how's it going? POPS. Use code POPS for free shipping. It will arrive in time for Father's Day if you order today. Look at Darian. He's putting that thing into practice. He's got the dice. Awesome stuff. Really appreciate Across the Board. They're big NASCAR fans. And you can get this officially licensed NASCAR racing game, or the one Darian's holding as well. They have a couple different options.
Yeah. And also, it makes a good hat.
Oh, there you go. Look at balance.
I just realized that. But yeah, no.
Good stuff.
I love it. And I want to thank them for jumping on the podcast this week. It's very much appreciated, and it'll be a lot of fun when I believe all of us will be in town in a couple of weeks.
We got our games from them. We got them last year. We've got together at my house and played it some before, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll do it in a couple of weeks. Good stuff.
Yes, absolutely. Well, we kind of talked about this briefly. We do need to talk just a little bit about the Chase Briscoe penalty, just for a second.
So I just want to update y'all too on the whole points deal now that where that's put them afterwards, because NASCAR was pretty quick with updating this because they had known. They were like, oh yeah, you're gonna have some stuff thrown your way. So now he is sitting, let's see, 31st in the overall standings now after that penalty.
Was he ahead of Alex Bowman before?
No, he was 4 points behind him before, and now he's 104 behind him.
Okay, yeah. I didn't know if that gave him some more cushion.
So just to add feel, just to add.
Okay, yeah, it did, but
like just to add fuel to the fire, he is now below Austin Dillon, Harrison Burton, Chase Elliott, Ryan Preece, Eric Jones, Eric Almirola, and so it's bad.
Is he ahead of Noah Gragson still?
Barely. Yeah. Well, actually, no, not barely, but he's ahead of Gragson.
Not barely.
Well, I mean, like it's
how bad has Noah been?
I mean, it's less than 100 points. Hold on.
Well, yeah.
I hope so. Jeez Louise.
How many points does Chase have, and how many does Noah have?
Okay, so all right.
Chase has 172. Noah has 139.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
that's 33 points. Or am I doing the math right?
That's why I was so shocked. I was like, oh my gosh, Gragson is behind still. Like it's crazy.
Hey,
God.
here's something interesting. Our boy BJ has 78 points. He matched his car number.
Hey, there you go. There you go. Putting those points on the board. Let's go.
But okay, so the
But yeah.
penalty for Briscoe is an L3 penalty because they not only did they illegally modify next gen part, they full on counterfeited a next gen part.
Yep.
And got caught at the R&D center this week. So this is the heftiest penalty NASCAR's handed a team in the next gen era. I don't know off the top of my head. It might be the heftiest penalty NASCAR's ever given one single team ever. I don't know numbers off the top of my head. I know
it's the equivalent of 2 races.
MWR got blasted back in the day, but I think it was a couple of their cars got hit. This is just one car from one team, and their season's over. That's the way I see it. Like at best now, they're a round of 16 playoff exit, because even if Briscoe lucks into a win in these next 11 weeks, he'll be like negative 20 playoff points. He's not making it out of the first round.
And the terrible part is they finished 20th.
Yeah,
and they didn't run
the illegal part.
They were 34th in stage 1 off of speed. Jesus.
And you know what said a lot to me though was the official statement from Greg Zipadelli when he said that the part that got me was, oh yeah, this is like some sort of manufacturer like issue or whatever. So like basically what that tells me is like, yeah, I think somebody's getting the boot maybe, or they just don't want to admit, obviously don't want to admit like, oh yeah, we tried. And
the comment was a part was on Briscoe's car that should have never been on the racetrack. It's like, well, why do you have a counterfeit next gen part in your shop at all?
So that's what I'm saying. So I'm
they
like,
clearly did it on purpose.
So yeah, y'all either did it on purpose or somebody's gone rogue within your team. But I doubt that. I don't know if that happened. But
Will England said he bought it off eBay and just slapped it on there.
This is the last team
put in there. He said he learned to speak Chinese.
This is the last
They're cooking next gen parts like Walter White.
Jesse, it's time to cook.
Well, they're cooking their season away basically, but this is the last.
Never let bro cook again.
This is the last
science.
Like this team, man. I know, but this team, man, just out of all the teams, like obviously a penalty of this magnitude would be terrible for any team, but Stewart-Haas, like you are the last team that needs to be doing all this. And you know what's even crazier? I saw what was going around from their social media accounts. Like I guess during the rain delay and stuff, like the 14 team was having a good time and stuff in like their haulers or whatever. They put out some like funny video or something. And I just loved all the quote tweets saying, oh, well, this is why you guys are running 42nd. Look at you guys, you're not working. And then this news comes out today talking about, oh, we're gonna take away 120 points because of a manufactured part after you guys were running 41st off of pure speed alone. Like
31st, there were only 37 cars.
Excuse me, I'm sorry, 31st. Excuse me, but still, it's all bad for that team. It's all bad.
I feel like we shouldn't keep saying the meme, get ready to learn Chinese, but we need to say like, get ready to learn Spanish, buddy. You're going to the Mexico series.
Or going to the Formula 4 series, the Formula 4 Chinese series or something.
Get ready to learn French. You're going to the Pinty series.
Yeah. You're going to Europe, buddy.
No, you're going to Canada.
You know what?
Oh, sorry.
You know what though? Like there was all this talk about like, oh, maybe Zane Smith or Harrison Burton could potentially take over the 10. And then my next thought is, why would they want to go over there? What? I mean, let's be honest. Like, look, I mean, like, yeah. I mean, the Wood brothers. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not like the most competitive team out there, but at the moment, they seem to be a little more competent than Stewart-Haas Racing.
My question with this is
even
this.
front row.
I have my question here is, if that genuinely helped the performance of the car, how bad would they have been not doing it?
That's what. Yeah, that's a good question.
At this point, if I am Ford and I want the best for a guy who could be a potential star, I'm looking at Rick Ware Racing and saying, hey, why don't you sell one of those charters over to Brad Keselowski and get them to be a 3-car team again? Because we could get Zane Smith and RFK and run a lot better.
Man, I mean, front row. But I mean, why would Zane Smith want to leave there? I mean, like if Zane Smith got a full-time ride from
put a little respect on front row. They've been getting top 10s. the last couple of years. They get better.
That's
They
what
get better.
I'm
So-
saying. Why would you want to leave there? Yeah. Why would you want to leave there?
Jarrett is no longer McDowell supremacy. He is front row supremacy now.
Well,
The empire
same here.
spreads.
Legit question. Like, if Zane Smith got an opportunity to drive full time for Front Row or Stewart-Haas Racing, which team would he take? I would take the Front Row instantly for a full time ride.
I don't know. So last week, I suggested that, is Stewart-Haas picking the right guy and picking Josh Berry? Because that's what it sounds like is going to happen. And I got a few comments from people saying, is Josh Berry making the right decision going to SHR? And I thought about it and I look around. I'm like, look at the cup opportunities that are available. Realistically, SHR is the only remotely competitive opportunity he's probably going to get in the near future. So he has to take it. I didn't even think about that. But at the same time, you're right. Like, dang, Stewart-Haas Racing may not be the super team we think they are. They have the resources to be a super team, but the performance just isn't there. And like you just said, Jarrett, if they were running 25th with an illegal part, if that was actually making a difference, how bad are they? Normally, like naturally, how do you recover from this? Even Roush didn't fall this hard this quickly. What is happening?
Well, and I'll say this about RFK and Barry going, or not RFK, of SHR and Barry going there. He will have, if he does take over the 4, he will have Rodney Childers. Rodney Childers has been around a while. He has run. I believe, wasn't he the crew chief? Wasn't he one of the crew chiefs at one point at? Let's say, was it MWR?
He was at MWR,
yeah.
So he's not, even with drivers that aren't one of the top 10 guys in the wins list, he's still been a pretty solid crew chief. So the 4 car still, in my opinion, is on a different level because it has Rodney Childers.
It's probably true.
But
so is that the problem? Is Klossmeyer and Billy Scott and is it who's in the 41 now? Is it Chad Johnston? Who's the 41 now? Are they the problem?
I don't know. I don't think it's solely a crew chief thing though. I mean,
I think I did a video on this a while back. I mean, I think it's just a combination of a bunch of factors. I mean, Kevin Harvick really disguised a lot of the a lot of the flaws of that team. I think looking back now,
if it were
Ryan Priest's crew chief is Chad Johnston, by the way.
Okay.
If it were crew
Kansas
chiefs,
got him fired from Ganassi.
Well, if it were crew chiefs, then I have a feeling it wouldn't be 3 cars or half the team most of the time, and it wouldn't be. There'd be a difference with drivers. There'd be some kind of difference made with different changes. But it's like every time they change, it just gets worse. Even if it's good drivers, even if it's not good drivers. So it's like, it does feel like it's a team issue. And I'm kind of wondering too, what is the fix? Because RFK is better. Front Row is better. Penske is obviously better. So you're the 4th best Ford team at this point?
I'd still put him. I'd put him 3rd, but you're right. Front Row is knocking on that door. Here's the fix: switch to Toyota.
Okay, so now you're below Joe Gibbs. You're below 2311, and then Legacy is going to buy in.
That's 2 new teams. Yeah,
you might be ahead of Legacy.
I don't know though, because at this point, if Legacy,
I'm joking. They're not switching to Toyota.
I know, but that's the thing. And if you go to Chevy is has more teams than anyone really, and there's no. I don't feel like there's any easy fix. I feel like you have to have a clean reset the way that RFK did.
Do you think, looking back now, and I feel like this is a symbolic beginning of the end moment for this team. Do you think, Ford's, looking back at that 2020 decision not to bring Larson on as you think they're looking back at that oh gosh.
No, I don't think Listen, I don't think Larson would make as much a difference. I think he'd perform how he did at Ganassi. Is that the standard that SHR would want to be held to? Maybe one breakout year every now and then a winning year? Because that's what he was held back at Ganassi with for the most part.
I think Larson would have had a season kind of like he did last year. He got a couple wins, but it wasn't the breakout year he had in 2021.
I agree. It's not. I don't think it's really a driver issue. Harvick went from winning 9 races a year to 0 races, just like that. That's a car team issue and
team personnel issue.
Is it crew chiefs? Is it Greg Zipadelli? Is it just they got behind somewhere and haven't got caught back up? I don't know.
I forgot who it was, and this is the last I'll say on it. But I forgot who it was. But I saw somebody had tweeted or put in a Discord or something had said, "This is a team that 6 years ago made Eric Almirola nearly a championship contender.
Yeah.
And now,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, in 2018, he was looking amazing.
finished fifth in
Round of
points.
8.
Yeah, he was great. Yeah, he was great. That team was great. Now look, they're
It's
now
great.
no longer great.
But then every now and again, they come out like New Hampshire and, Almirola just busts out a win. So,
Yeah, something, I don't know, something crazy happened. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Well,
Speaking of drivers.
Yeah.
yeah.
Got him.
We
Easy
have some
time.
more to talk about in the top 75.
Yes, sir. Yes, chat, get ready. We have gone through the first 10, and now we are going through another 5 tonight. To be exact, 65 through 61 is up next.
Yes.
Let's reveal.
And let me, I want to pull up my own so I know what I actually said looking back at this too.
Yeah.
I got
always-
the graphic. Your ranking will be on there.
Okay. Yeah, I'm also just looking for my own
So
knowledge too.
Well, I'll put it up on there. So 65 was A.J. Foyt.
Yes, sir.
And I had him at 68. I talked about that last week. So looks like some of y'all brought him up a little bit.
Hey, I was right. I had him at 65. Nice.
But AJ Foyt, I mean, what else can you say? I mean, obviously, just the name alone, I mean, just speaks for itself, man. I mean, obviously, his career in open wheel speaks for itself, 4 Indianapolis 500 victories. But, in his brief moments in NASCAR, I mean, he was pretty solid, man. He was pretty solid.
He won
for
a
his big
Daytona
moments.
500. I mean, he won like 7 races in not that many starts, relatively speaking. I mean, sure, he's more well known for what he did, before NASCAR, outside of NASCAR, but still, like, you factor a little bit of that in, which I can't help. Like, but like, also he's from Texas, so I gotta support that. But you factor in what he did in NASCAR. I mean, I think he's absolutely deserving of a spot on the top 75 list.
Yeah.
I think I had him at,
Yeah.
I think, I have him the highest, 63rd. Maybe
No,
that's just the Houston bias. I don't know.
I had him the highest at 58.
Oh, 58.
actually.
Yeah, there you go. I see it.
I mean, I just saw his small. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
The chat barely had him in. Chat had him at 73rd.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I figured most would have him at, but I'm actually pretty surprised y'all had him a little bit higher and stuff. I mean, I just saw his small body of work and I was like, oh yeah.
Well, and what's crazy about that small body of work is the longevity of it too. I had looked it up to be sure, but his last race was the 1994 Brickyard 400.
Yeah, he raced for a while there.
There is a reason that Tony Stewart wanted to keep on the legacy of AJ's number 14. And it's because he is just an overall legend of motorsports, much like how Tony became a legend of all forms of motorsports himself. I always thought it was very, very fitting to go with that.
And do you guys know what his first race win in NASCAR was? It was the 1964 Firecracker 400.
Oh, wow.
This is all pre-restrictor plate too, so I don't want people saying, "Oh, super speedway."
No, this is
back when it meant that you earned a Daytona win.
Yeah, based off of strategy, pure guts and stuff. Because that was a beast back in the day. But yeah,
you know what I love about this list though is like going from 65 to 64. Danny, we go from like somebody who was way back in time, an all-time legend, to basically somebody that we all watched as kids growing up.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. We got Mr. Woohoo in the booth right now. It's Clint Bowyer up here in the booth. Hey, you got a cameo of your buddy?
And I know what some of y'all in the chat are thinking. Wait, Clint's on this list? Hear us out. Yes, he deserves to be on this list. Absolutely, 100%. I mean, Clint Bowyer's career, came into the Cup Series officially in 2006 and, raced all the way up until 2020. But I mean, his career overall speaks for itself too. In 541 starts, 10 career wins, 82 top 5s, 226 top 10s, 4 career poles. And, he was only a true championship contender, I would say, 2007, for a brief moment there.
2012.
And then 2012 there at the very end, he never really had a dominating season though.
2018, when he first come over to SHR, he was starting to look really good. He got the win. He got the win after the snow at Martinsville, and he got the rain win at Michigan.
Yeah, Michigan. Yeah, but you know what? 10 career wins, pretty good.
Well, and you look at his time at MWR too, and he helped really build that team into a championship contender for the short time he was there.
Mm-hmm.
I think it got way overshadowed, and probably rightfully so, by Spingate.
Yeah.
But when you look at that 2012 run, and while he probably wouldn't have won the championship even if Gordon didn't take him out, the fact that his first year with that team, which people forget, before 2012, MWR was still a joke. It was a team that at best was 15th place in points with David Rudiman. Martin Truex Jr. still really hadn't done anything in the 2 years he had spent there. And the year before, Truex was pretty mediocre at best, and Rudiman, I believe, was like at the bottom half of the top 30 in points, and that 00 team turned into the 15 team.
Yeah.
Rudiman might have got them their first win, and then he just looked very convincing at Chicagoland in 2010.
One time.
But then other than that, like it all just went downhill from there. And we're talking about his MWR days, even his RCR days. Was pretty impressive too. We don't talk about that enough.
H. Scott Clint Bowyer is my favorite Clint
Oh
Bowyer.
God.
Oh God. But no one wants to remember that was a dark time for Clint Bowyer.
The resiliency he showed though to get back to an elite team and to winning races and making deep playoff runs. I also give him some points for that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I like how that car literally just looked like his MWR car, but it was a Chevy and it had a different number font.
And Danny, you brought up his RCR days. Like, yeah, his 2007 and 2008 seasons don't get talked about enough. I mean, he only won 2 races in those 2 years combined, but he finished 3rd and 5th in those back-to-back seasons. I mean, it's pretty consistent.
People forget he was the beneficiary of Kyle Busch Dale Jr. 08. People forget he won that race. It was not Kyle Busch.
And remember Max saying, "Here comes Clint Bowyer," and there he went.
Was that his first Cup win?
Second.
No. Second career one. His first one was in 07 in the first race for the chase for the Cup in 07.
Which he finished. He was the highest finisher in points behind Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson that year.
Third in points.
Wait, and I'm sorry, what track was that?
New Hampshire.
Okay, New Hampshire, yeah. He got a couple wins at New Hampshire, didn't he?
Yes. Yeah, the 2010 one was the one where he got penalized like 150 points after.
I remember actually all the RCR cars looked strangely good in that one.
Yeah. Wonder why. But no, Clint Bowyer, one of the greatest drivers.
I love the change back and forth. I'm going to say this the entire time because it's so cool to change now from Bowyer to the next one.
Oh, gosh, yeah. This guy, you're going back to the very beginning, basically.
Stone Age.
Yeah. At 63rd, we have Red Byron.
And no, there's no relation to William Byron at all. There's no relation. Yeah.
I mean, I love the differences in rankings, too. Because it's like Danny's the outlier having an honorable mention, but it's like Darian right at the bottom of the list. I'm a little higher. Eric's a little higher, and the chat just went nuts putting Red Byron nearly in the top 50. But looking at Red Byron's career, it's a very short one. 15 total races, 2 wins, first champion, and he won at the Daytona Beach and the Martinsville Speedway.
Yep, and his races driving for Raymond Parks, BJ Danton or Dayton, excuse me, and then Willie Marks. But yeah, I mean, back in these days, I mean, like we just said, this was like the very beginning of NASCAR. So like the first season was only like 8 races in total, or excuse me, 6 races, and he ended up winning 2 of them. He won the first championship at North Wilkesboro. So you know what, North Wilkesboro, I mean, really goes back to the history.
You look at the races, he won, and it was only a couple, but in 15 starts, widely considered one of the best drivers in NASCAR's earliest era. And I had him highly ranked again because I think, winning meaningful races or, championships, he was NASCAR's first now Cup Series champion. And I think that deserves certainly a spot in the top 75. I had him just inside the top 60. And I think that's fair. I think that's a pretty incredible honor to go down in history as having.
And hey, just to defend it here, no disrespect to him, but I mean, we're talking, it's been years since, he was in the first season of NASCAR. There's been so many other drivers come along that, I thought you were going
to say it's been years. What has he done lately?
What has he done lately around here? No,
but I get it, Danny.
There's so many drivers, and in my personal list, and I know a bunch of people. Few people said, like, how can you have Clint Bowyer and no Alex Bowman? I had Bowman on my list. I mean, there's one that took away from his spot,
Yeah. But no.
And really quick, I'm double checking, but I believe he was a fighter pilot in World War II.
I think so, yeah.
And he had injured his legs and had to have a almost like a special kind of leg harness in his car, so he's able to drive too, which I think makes it even more impressive. What he did in that short time. But Red Byron, 63rd on the list.
All right. Now I love 60. I love 62. I love who's 62nd.
Yes, 62 is definitely a good one. We've got Mr. Sterling Marlin. So Silver Bullet Sterling on here.
We were really consistent on this one. Danny and Darian had him 63rd. The rest of us 61st.
Oh wow! So yeah, he
so that's
definitely...
how he got right smack dab in the middle in 62.
But go ahead, Darian. Talk about what he did in his career.
Man, Sterling Marlin's career, man, had one of the most interesting careers in NASCAR history. So his dad, Cuckoo Marlin, was a very good driver in his own right. Just never really had the solid equipment to win in the Cup Series. But Sterling Marlin ends up winning Rookie of the Year in 1983. And it doesn't win his first career Cup Series race until 1994. But up to his first career Cup Series victory, he was still a very respectable driver. He finished top 10 in the standings in 3 seasons leading up to that. But it finally came together for him when he drove that famous Kodak Chevy to a victory lane in the 1994 Daytona 500. That's right. The Daytona 500 was his first career victory, and his second career victory because he went back to back in 94 and 95. And for a brief moment there, if you went to a super speedway track in the mid 1990s, you just knew that Kodak, that famous number 4 Kodak film Chevy owned by Morgan McClure Motorsports, was going to be a true contender. But you know what, though? Even though he was up, he found himself down at parts in his career, wasn't winning for a while, but found himself in a solid situation once again, because the old Felix Sabates team was now bought up by Chip Ganassi, and in 2001 drives that Silver Bullet to 3rd in points and gives Dodge their first win in NASCAR that they had for a while. 2002 was a championship contender, but unfortunately injuries cut that short. So really after that, he was never really a true championship contending or winning guy again, but still, in his brief moments, he was up. Oh boy, he was up. He was one of the best.
And I don't know about these guys if they ever got a chance to see him race in person, but I did only one time in 2009 at Bristol Motor Speedway in the Legends race. He was paired up with Andy Petrie, who helped get him his spot via qualifying in a celebrity race that they had beforehand. That got him a good starting position. Sterling Marlin went out and got it done in the Saturday Night Special in 2009. So that's the only time I got to see Sterling Marlin race, and he got the win and the number 4 car as a late model.
But Jared, just talk about Sterling. Like some of these kids, they don't know, man. They don't know how good he was, man. Really
don't. I think one thing that we kind of overlooked is he was also really good at Darlington. Got multiple wins at Darlington. And he did have a late race resurgence. He had, of course, Morgan McClure and him. Really the peak for that team in the mid 90s, but I just always think of what could have been with him with 02 because he might not have won that championship, but he should have been in the mix at the end.
He should have been top 3 again, I think.
Well, he was the points leader for most of that season. Think about who was also competing for that championship. You had a young and hungry Tony Stewart looking for his first title, Mark Martin for the upteens time battling for a championship. It was an extremely competitive field. It's just, the injury just cut it short. If
that never happened, there may have never been, one that made it on our list last week. There would have never been Jamie Baby. So
that's funny. Yeah, one guy, one 75 driver gets subbed for another top 75 driver. So it's interesting how that works. But yeah, Sterling Marlin, one of the greatest in NASCAR history. Unfortunately, he is battling Parkinson's. I think that's how you say it. So best wishes to him.
Eric, what do you think about Marlin?
You guys kind of said it all. I had him high on my list. 2-time Daytona 500 winner, close to winning the championship. You guys kind of covered all the bases. Also drove a pretty iconic scheme that I keep just off camera. You can see it during my normal episodes, but I love that Silver Bullet scheme. So.
Oh, I see it down there.
Yeah. Can you see it down there? I don't know. It's like just barely. I can just pick it up. No, never mind. Yeah.
You keep it right next to the cornflakes car.
There you go. Yep. There you go. Beer and cornflakes. That's breakfast of champions right there.
Yes, absolutely. Forget milk. I've got beer. All right. So moving on to number 61. This is Dick Rathmann. Dick Rathmann makes it in at number 61.
And oh boy, he was.
I'll be honest, I didn't know much about this guy. I saw he won 13 races in NASCAR's early years in the 50s, and I said, hey, that's good enough. He's got to be on this list somewhere.
Sounds good to me.
But
yeah.
man, I mean, like, again, it's just another one of those cases where it's like he was one of those early pioneers of, in the sport's history, where he only raced for 5 straight years consistently. Like, he never ran a full-time season, of course, because I mean, they ran so many races and they were, scheduled, sometimes, 2-3 races a week back in those days. But in 4 of those 5 seasons, I mean, he finished top 10 in points, won, very interestingly, had not only had 13 career victories, but also 13 poles and 69 top 5s, along with 79 top 10s. And looking at some of his wins, he won at Martinsville, Langhorne,
I had him as an honorable mention, more, and I think it was more because I had a lot of recency bias on that as well, and kind of like Dan, you were talking about having Red Byron off the list for more modern drivers who've more accomplished careers in a competitive kind of ring of it. I think that's more where I had it with Rathmann. But early on, definitely a big pioneer. I mean, like I said, 13 wins all between 1952 and 54, one at Darlington in 52. So still very strong pioneer driver.
Yeah. Also attempted the Indianapolis 500 as well. So that seems to be a common theme for like NASCAR drivers back in the day. They wanted to race the Indy 500 as well, I guess, back in the 40s and 50s. But overall though,
everyone wanted to do everything back then.
Yeah, but I mean, overall, 129 starts, 13 wins, 13 poles. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty great, pretty good career in that short time span. So yeah, he is forever enshrined at 61.
Oh, and people are pointing out in the chat that while at number 69 we had a man named Dick, this man named Dick had 69 top 5s.
Yeah, what is it about Dick on this list, man? What is it about? What about the name? What about the name?
I was like, why is everyone saying nice? That was last week. And I was like,
oh boy. But anyways, yeah, that's 65 through 61.
So really quick, I'll roll through them as somebody outside is like the apartment is going past like a sweeper truck or something. So 65 was AJ Foyt. Then you got Clint Bowyer, 64, Red Byron, 63rd, 62nd, Sterling Marlin, and 61st, Dick, 69 top 5s, Rathmann.
But anyways,
very nice choices.
Yep. Next week we will go through 60 through 56 as we continue our list of the 75 greatest drivers in NASCAR history.
Getting more and more interesting every week of who we have where and why.
Yeah.
All right. So that kind of wraps it up for everything, but we need to preview this weekend's races. We have 2 tracks we're going to this weekend. We'll be at World Wide Technology Raceway, as you can see on my shirt, which is in St. Louis, aka Gateway, and also the Xfinity Series will be up at Portland, the road course up in Oregon. A few weekend notes for us. Michael Waltrip and Kenny Wallace will be in the FS1 booth, and this is looking to be another sellout race. I think Jarrett said we'll have a crowd size of about 80,000 in the stands for the race at Gateway this weekend. The Cup race, just like it was last year, is the Enjoy Illinois 300. There is 240 laps in this race. Stages are broke up into, is that right? Wait, am I reading these stages right, Jarrett?
I probably got them wrong. My bad.
Okay.
Well, we don't have to read the stages. Don't matter.
Okay. All right. The race is set to start at 3:30 p.m. Eastern time on FS1 with radio coverage on MRN. Weather for this weekend, it's going to be hot, insanely hot out there at St. Louis. So you two who will be there, make sure you have sunscreen. Make sure you drink plenty of water while you're there.
Yes, Dad.
I have 95.
Yes,
I
sir.
have 95 degrees, partly sunny and hot with a 25% chance of rain. The track does have lights, so if we need to, we can race it under the lights. The defending winner of this race is Joey Logano. The Xfinity race happening up in Portland is the Office Automation 147. It'll be a 75-lap race. This race is set to start on Saturday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern time on FS1 and radio coverage on Performance Racing Network, PRN. Weather for up there is going to be 80 degrees, mostly sunny and pleasant, only a 1% chance of rain up there. The defending winner of that race is AJ Allmendinger. And then for the Truck Series race, there'll be the Toyota 200, a 160-lap race with start time of 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Saturday on FS1 and radio coverage on MRN. Weather for that day is 94 degrees, sunny, and very hot for a 12% chance of rain. And defending winner of that race is Corey Heim. And as for who do we think is going to do very good this weekend? Well, Darian, who is Vegas saying is our betting favorites?
And it's showtime. It's time for the betting odds on the NASCAR Weekly Podcast. Kyle Larson enters as this weekend's favorite again at plus 450. When his excuse me, his teammate William Byron is in P2 at plus 650. Martin Truex Jr. and Denny Hamlin both tied at plus 1,000 apiece. And finally, Kyle Busch ends the favorites category at plus 1,100. But the best of the rest is very easy to read this week, because all 5 of these drivers I'm about to list off are tied at plus 1,200 apiece. So very close betting odds this week. We got Tyler Reddick, Ryan Blaney, Ross Chastain, Kevin Harvick, and Joey Logano. And finally, for the underdogs, Bubba Wallace is a plus 2,800, followed by Brad Keselowski at plus 3,000. Corey Lajoie in the Hendrick Motorsports 9 is plus 3,500, followed by Ty Gibbs at plus 4,000, and Carson Hocevar making his Cup Series debut. If you just want to go extremely crazy with the bets, top 10 bet maybe, plus 40,000. So, you can make a lot of money off of just a top 10 bet with him. So that's very interesting indeed. And just wanted to give an update on the fantasy league standings, the top 5.
Just read them off real quick. Let's get on to
the top 5 really
points.
quick. Yeah, excuse me. Just let me pull it up really quick. Oh my gosh, this freaking website. Come on, NASCAR. There we go. So really quick, the main fantasy league, Sean 48NY is the points leader, followed by Trevor Sports 98, Danny B Wife, Kenseth's Legacy 2, and finally rounding out the top 5 is me, BFM. And in the second league, we have JC underscore 43, 42 Larson 5, Racer Roar 48, unofficial Illinois representative Josh Wise, and Common Chase Elliott are tied for 4th. And that Common Chase Elliott name's very fitting this weekend. But yes, thank you guys so much for playing this season.
And
alrighty, there's also something else to talk about.
Oh boy, Eric, you ready? You ready, Eric?
Just another week, another dub. I'm just chilling out here, keeping y'all at arm's length.
Are you chilling that much?
I was -1 or +1 last week. Now I'm +8.
All right, yeah. Eric is 272. He has 2 Cup wins, 3 Xfinity Series wins, and 1 truck win this season. The chat is second, -8 from him. They have 2 Cup wins, 3 Xfinity Series wins, and 2 truck wins. They're technically better than you in that stat, but you still have some consistency on your side.
Consistency is key. Matt Kenseth taught me well.
Now, moving into third is Danny B. I'm -44. I have 0 Cup wins, 2 Xfinity Series wins, and 2 truck wins. Fourth, -45 back, is Darian with 1 Cup win, 3 Xfinity Series wins, and 1 truck series win. The new basement boy is our old buddy Jarrett, -47 back, 0 Cup wins, 4 Xfinity Series wins, and 1 truck win.
I can hang the banner. I don't care. I have a banner to hang.
He's got his championship.
You might be basement boy, but we're like just standing above you. We're just looking at you right now. That's what we're doing.
Hey, this year has been close so far. I'm liking this points thing, man. Yeah, I'm loving it.
Yeah, there's 3 guys within 3 points of each other. So, it's a long ways to go, but right now I'm no longer basement boy. So with that being said, the new pick order for this week is Eric, me, Darian, Jarrett, and then the chat.
All right. I won't interrupt, I promise.
So truck series win. Eric, who's going to win a truck race?
I've got some bold picks, at least one. I think this truck pick is bold. I don't know if the Xfinity pick would count as bold. We'll see how you guys feel about it. But my truck series pick to win at Gateway, I think it's Gateway's not a short track, but it's flat. It's got some short track tendencies. This guy doesn't have a win yet this year. Hasn't really led that many laps yet this year, but I feel good about his chances. Ty Majeski wins the truck race.
That's a good one.
I also feel like I'm being a little bold with my picks this weekend. I just got into third, so I'm going to be bold, I guess. I'm going to go for Carson Hocevar to win this race this weekend.
I'm gonna go with old reliable. He hasn't let me down so far this season. Corey Heim. It's Heim time.
It's
Time, baby.
time. That's my pick
Heim
as well.
time.
That's my pick.
Nice.
And what's
And
the check?
right now, it looks like the chat is agreeing with Heim time.
Oh, there you go.
Let's give it to him.
Okay, all right.
Need for Speed Darian, Danny, Darian, and Jared having a mid-off.
Having a
And,
mid-off.
and you know what the
Now
funny
that-
part is? We're still ahead of
there's-
Ty Dillon.
Yeah.
Dang. Hit him where it hurts.
But yeah, the chat's going Heim time.
Yeah, time.
All right.
All
It's
right,
time the chat got a pick, right?
Oh gosh. All right. Well, it's Heim time. Eric picked an Xfinity winner.
Yeah.
This one, I see. At first I thought this was the boldest pick of the weekend, but I'm not sure. I think that Majeski pick might have been a little out there. My Xfinity Series pick, is this his Xfinity Series debut? I actually don't know. It's not his NASCAR debut.
I didn't
but
know who you're picking.
Getting behind the wheel of that colleague number 10. We've seen how AJ Allmendinger makes those colleague cars look at road courses. Jordan Taylor.
I think that might be bolder than your truck pick, actually.
It's borderline.
I'm going to go with a little bit safer in this one. I'm going with John Hunter Nemechek for this one.
Eric, I'm going bold just like you. I'm not even the points leader. Damn it. Jordan Taylor, baby. Let's go. Get that dub, baby.
When Allmendinger gets sick of running 25th in Cup every week, can he please come back to Xfinity and make this pick easy again? I'm gonna go Taylor. I'm gonna go Taylor also. I was gonna go for take a shot at it, so might as well.
So I've got a chance to do something there.
And doesn't look like the chat's going with Jordan. Like they're not going with Jordan Taylor. It looks like they're going more with like.
I'm not sure who they're going with.
I see a
don't
lot
see
of
anything.
Creed. I see a couple of Creed.
I think it's between Creed and Nemechek, but I'm not sure.
That's who.
Well, we got some time. The other ones that we're going to do doesn't really matter as much. So
Yeah, we'll get a little time.
I'll just do a little poll here.
Yeah, we'll get a little poll.
And we have Creed and who?
Nemechek.
Yeah, I didn't see a whole lot of Anderson.
I was thinking about Kligerman, but they've just been so off this year. Like, a lot of it's been just bad luck or just fail, whatever. But I was otherwise thinking of going Kligerman.
Mm-hmm. But while he gets that poll up,
all right, answer poll me. Go ahead.
Oh, he already has it up. There you go. So, yep, Creed and Nemechek. Well, let's continue. What's next?
Suck.
Yeah, who's just gonna suck in the Cup race, Eric?
I don't want to pick on him while he's down. I like Chase Briscoe a lot, but that team is reeling. I'm gonna go Briscoe. He was pretty good at Wilkesboro though, which is kind of similar. It's kind of like it is a short track. It's
Didn't
kind
he
of like
win
Gateway.
the pole here last year?
Yeah, Ford had a great Gateway last year. I know Blaney just won, but like we talked about earlier, he was kind of the only Ford minus maybe Brad Keselowski who looked remotely relevant.
All right, my suck pick. It's probably been years since he got to come race here in the Truck Series because the Xfinity Series didn't race here, and he didn't run this race last year. It was Allmendinger, so I'm going to go with Noah Gragson to suck in this one.
Team Penske had a hell of a weekend, but I feel like this guy's just been there. I mean, he wins the 500, and then what's he really done since? I mean, I'm not saying he's terrible, but I mean, compared to what Blaney and Logano are doing right now, I mean, Austin Cindric's been off this year, and it's just one of those sophomore slump deals. I mean, I hope he gets better. I'm not saying he's a bust, but I mean, I hope he gets a little bit better by the end of the year. But right now, he's gonna suck.
You said that you couldn't say he sucked, but he's only in the top 20 because of penalties and people being out. He's probably would have been around 22nd, 23rd in points. So I'm going to go with Cindric too. Cindric has been probably my biggest disappointment this year because he was honestly kind of consistent last year and has just fallen off a cliff.
Yeah. I mean, he wrecked in the 600 thing again. So,
and then almost overwhelmingly, the chat all agrees that Chase Briscoe will suck this weekend.
Shocker.
Yeah.
And now,
pretty close.
Who will be the dark horse for the Cup race, Eric?
Ooh.
I didn't have a pick settled on this. I wanted to look up some numbers real quick just to sort of kind of back me up on this, but I'm going to go Eric Jones. Yes, this is what I remember. I remember that Bommarito car. He ran top 10 here last year, and I know Legacy had one of the all-time fail weekends in NASCAR history, but Jones was running up towards the top 10 early until apparently just a fluke deal ran over some debris. So I think Eric Jones, he's the best driver they have on that team right now. I think he's capable of another top 10 run, even though legacy is also kind of reeling.
One of a few times I'll get to say this, and especially since he's in this car, make the most of it. Corey Lajoie.
See,
I figured y'all would go with him.
I sent my underdog pick before all that was announced. So it was originally going to be Ty Gibbs, but I'm going to go with Hocevar, man. Like, I mean, coming in the 7 on short notice, man, like he has, the opportunity to really turn some heads because like, nobody's really expecting a whole lot from him, but I mean, if he's somehow able to run at least like top 20 in that, in his debut, like that would be mighty impressive, alone. So yeah, I'm going to go with him as my underdog pick, Hocevar.
Well, we are 14 races in. We are over halfway through the regular season, and this guy at the moment is 87 points to the good in the playoffs. I don't think anyone was. I think many might have picked him to be an outsider to make the playoffs, but not to be this far in this late in the season. I'm going Christopher Buescher.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. Hey, Roush is coming back, man, and hey, thank you, Keselowski, bringing that historic team back.
And then the chat is with me. They're going to Corey Lajoie, it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Likewise, the chat for their Xfinity win, they are going with John Hunter Nemechek. That is the winner between him and Creed.
Close though.
And now for the main event, who's gonna win? Who's gonna win at Gateway, Eric? Can we get a new points leader? I'm sick of always get at Eric going first.
We go first anyway. The chat got by him.
Oh yeah,
yeah. You got some ground to make up. I'm gonna leave the door open this week. This was a tough race to predict because you look at last year's results, and Gateway's kind of its own thing. There are other flat, 1 mile type, half mile type. Like there are other tracks similar, but Gateway is pretty unique. There's not a huge track record. Their Cup just started going there last year. But you look at last year's race, 3 Fords in the top 5. Guys like Joey Logano, who I think is a little off right now. Eric Almirola got a top 5 last year. I don't trust him to repeat that. Ryan Blaney was in the top 5 last year, led a handful of laps, and he's coming off a win. So I was tempted to go Ford, but I just couldn't because Ford, by and large, has struggled this year by their standards. So I looked at Toyota, and I'm going to go with a guy who's also had good success at shorter, flatter ovals in recent years. He finished top 10 here last year. I'm going to go Christopher Bell.
All right, and mine is definitely a little bit out there, but overall, he's doing really good this season. Actually, him and his teammate both are doing really good this season. They're both in the playoffs as of right now. But I feel like this could be the track where he could finally get it done. He's shown success here years past in other series. I'm gonna go with Brad Keselowski to get the win this weekend in Gateway.
I like that. I like that one. Hey, look. It's been checkers or records for this guy. He's the odds-on favorite. I got some ground to make up, so don't want to take too many risks. I got Kyle Larson winning this weekend.
Well, I'm looking for redemption both on my end and then on my pick end, and I think this guy has the most redemption to get this week, both from last year in this race, having to basically putter around after being put in the wall, and then after this past week. I think he's going to do what Kyle Larson did last year after being right hooked into the wall, and Denny Hamlin. My pick to win.
Damn, so we all have different picks. Nice.
And I'm gonna do a poll for the chat because I'm seeing a lot of 8 and 11. So it's Kyle Busch and 11 is who they're going with.
Okay.
So I can't make up my mind of who I see more. So we're gonna go 8 and 11, and there you go.
Yep.
Vote away, chat.
Yep. See a potential point shakeup this week with all of our different picks. Will we catch Eric? We'll find out.
Meanwhile, while they are picking, I got to scroll back up here to see where we left off. And let's see, our last one was a good one because it was talking about Eric's Rockingham video. So we're going to pick up here for our super chats. NASCAR Bluey Taco Box 924. Appreciate the $2 there. Showing no rain, high of 92 for Sunday at Gateway. A little bit hotter from what we talked about earlier. So drink water if you're going there. Andrew Vrablik, appreciated $9.99. Where is the Chase apology to his team, sponsors, and fans? Bubba was pretty quick to get an apology out to those people. Says all about character.
I don't know if I'd go that far, but it is interesting that Chase hasn't put out a statement. Well, Bubba did. That is surprising.
Probably the biggest difference. But I said that when Bubba first turned him, I said he should be suspended right then and there, not even after when he started doing the fight and stuff. So Chase should have been suspended from that. The biggest difference was what Bubba did afterwards, getting out, fighting, shoving an official. That made it different, but also I said they both should have been suspended either way.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the biggest reason. I don't know. Tyler McDonagall, appreciate the $1.99. I survived layoffs at work today, so I can donate. Well, appreciate that, man.
Oh,
Thanks for the support.
you're nice.
I hope all's well. Those situations can be rough.
Yeah,
I've been there one time before and don't want to do that again.
Thank you, though. Appreciate it. Congrats.
NASCAR Bluey Taco Box 924, appreciated that, another $2. The Christmas car won the Coca-Cola 600. Funny, I actually thought it reminded. Was it a watermelon flavored drink they were advertising?
Oh yeah, hey, cherry lime. Yes.
Oh, it's cherry lime.
That flavor's so good.
It made me think watermelon. So I was thinking it would have been funny if he was like battling Chastain or something.
And what's funny is I bought that flavor at the Indy 500 too. So like it's pure coincidence, but hey, pure marketing. So get that scheme on that bottle. Sell some bottles.
Oh gosh, listen to this name here. Chase Elliott, the most wanted, $9.99. Appreciate that. I'm a little disappointed they didn't get Matt DiBenedetto to drive the 9, even though it was a long shot, but I'm happy for Lajoie getting this opportunity. Also, Boo Larson. Okay.
Boo Larson. He said Boo Larson. Yeah.
Atmos One, appreciate the $5. Currently racing Martinsville in NASCAR Thunder 04. Very happy for the deserved Blaney win. What fantasy track would you all want to be real? I say Dockside. Well, that would be a better Chicago street course than what we got, I think.
Oh, the Sawmill.
Forgot about Dockside.
Sawmill. There you go.
Canyon.
I think, yeah.
That would be my pick, Devil's Canyon.
I always like the one that was like Lehigh Valley, the one that was basically like Nashville.
Oh yeah. That's cool. Yeah.
Can we pick like a NASCAR Unleashed track?
Okay. Do you even remember the track names on there?
I kind of remember what they look like. I don't remember what they were called.
Okay, I was about to say.
I never played the NASCAR Mario Kart that EA Sports made, but I'm wondering what kind of track was on that one. Eric W, appreciate you giving 20 channel memberships out. If you received one from Eric, make sure you gave him a thank you at some point. Very generous of you, Eric. Appreciate that a lot. Andrew Meyer, appreciate the $5 there from you. That was a career-defining win for Ryan Blaney and a career-defining mistake for Chase Elliott. Interesting to see where both drivers go from here. Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree.
Need for Speed 5353, appreciate the $5. I've been a Jimmy fan since I was 8, so the past few years has been rough. I still want him to race though, and I can understand that. Even us, we all get happy when we see Junior hit the track one more time.
Yeah.
People appreciate the $2. How would a Chase Elliott retirement affect NASCAR? Well, you're gonna have to wait a long time before we know that. So
he's gonna retire to China.
Oh gosh,
he retired publicly being on Instagram. He privated it.
Oh yeah.
Did he really?
I'm sorry. That's
so weird.
SOFT soft.
Was that this week he did that?
I guess he did it just
You
now.
can't hide from your problems.
It's just it pisses me off that NASCAR's most popular driver, who's also a young driver, is actively ducking social media. Like that's a one thing to not be like super on it like all the time. Like I've said that every driver needs to stream. I've said that. It's one thing to not do it. I get it. But to actively duck it. God, like
so soft.
Harvick said Dale Jr. stunted the sport's growth. When can we start saying about Chase Elliott?
Hey, Eric.
I've seen it from Chase Elliott, and I've seen it from his PR people. They don't want to be that popular. They like the PR people oftentimes like will literally try to sneak him any way that they can and not let a fan meet him.
And I'm gonna be honest, Eric, dude, do you really want to see Chase Elliott stream? Come on, now, like, would it be interesting? Let's be honest.
No, but like, I'm not the target. I don't watch any streamers these days. Like, I'm not really the target audience. But there's a lot of young, potential young fans out there who would be the target audience.
Chase Elliott streaming. Oh my gosh, that would be
I get he's focused on racing when he's not snowboarding right before race weekend. And I get that. Like, he's locked in. I respect that. But also, it's just such a missed opportunity for his brand and the whole brand.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Gob, I appreciate the $1.99. Dirt Chicago street course. Well,
Dirt Chicago. Oh my God. Why not, man?
Find certain parts of Chicago. You might have that already. Pog Prowl, appreciate the $5 there. Can't wait for the second Portland race. Weather is looking good here, and I think Mike Snyder has this one in the bag. Ooh, we didn't none of us pick that, but
yeah, I guess he's a decent road course racer.
I don't think it's gonna be Mike. But hey, I hope it goes well for you. Chase Elliott, the most wanted, appreciate $1.99. All hail the Melanator, Ross Chastain.
The Melanator.
Gary Buki, appreciate the $10. Have you all seen the comments on Denny's interview saying he deserved it? Is justice for Larson at Kansas, etc. Abhorrent stuff. This incident is why Chase fans have the reputation they do. Yikes.
Yeah, I mean, look,
I didn't really like Hamlin calling a lot of Elliott fans not sane. Like,
yeah, but are you shocked? I mean, he said it before. So.
Yeah, but I you can tell Hamlin's bothered by the boos. Like, you can tell he doesn't like being booed, and that's just gonna make the boos louder. Like fans are supposed to be a little crazy. I think calling it out and bringing attention to it is just gonna make them even more upset and more crazy.
He's had Chase Elliott fans at his throat since Martinsville 2017. So
yeah, I think you should just keep doing it.
Yeah, just
keep poking the bear. I like it.
And honestly, Denny Hamlin, like, bro, you're a millionaire. Why do you care about the booze, bro? Who cares? Just take it.
All right, Liam Griffin 218 UA, appreciate the $20. Chase Elliott can't to be in Hendrick equipment, needing a win going into the Coke Zero 400 Daytona. And at this rate, he very well might be in that situation.
Oh, so I guess
he's just saying he shouldn't be in a must-win situation, but at this rate, he probably will be.
Yeah, probably.
If he doesn't win,
I get it. Yeah, I mean, it's a rough season.
Yeah. Beast of Metal 1989, appreciate the $10. I'm a Chase fan, but I refuse to defend what he did. If anything, the fact that Bubba's penalty did nothing to stop this tells me this was the moment to escalate, not stand pat. Chase needed 3 races, he says. Wow.
I don't know about that.
I mean, I said the same thing about Bubba last year. I only said 1 now because of the precedent. It's the precedent to do 1. Should be 1.
It's been set.
But since they did that to Bubba, that's what he should have got.
But if this happens more often, I think it should be escalated to a higher penalty.
I mean, we feel like we've seen some pretty harsh ones with Hendrick, and it's kept going. Now with Chase Briscoe, they're going a little harsher. So we might see this get harsher if we see it more. So hopefully we don't see it more. My mom told me when this happened, she grew up in an era where people did die pretty regularly in NASCAR, and she had to see a lot of drivers just disappear in her time watching. So she hates to see a lot of these guys like wrecking each other like that.
Yeah.
Beast of Metal 1989, appreciate another $20 there. However, it sickens me that provocateurs like Hamlin and Logano are treated like they did nothing wrong, especially when they've harassed one driver for months/years. It takes 2 wrongs to make a mess. Hamlin deserved a 1-race suspension.
Hamlin, whoa.
No,
is he talking about the Phoenix deal or
no? I know a lot of people were saying, well, that he was squeezing Elliott multiple times. Well, that's racing. Like,
yeah, I saw someone defend Chase Elliott, said rubbing is race. It's like what Hamlin did was rubbing. That wrecking is something else.
Yeah, that's one of the funniest super chats you've read.
Hamlin should be
such a turn.
Yeah, I was over here like, okay, I mean, Hamlin, I get it. He did a history. Oh, suspension.
No, it was like Elliott coming off the corners. Good. Right rear.
If we're going back in time to Phoenix, maybe, but I don't know about this.
This is great. Thank you so much.
But hey, appreciate the $30 of donations from you, man. Appreciate that very much. It keeps the channel going. Will Griffin, appreciate the $10 from you. 2-part question. How do you all think Corey Lajoie will do in the 9, especially since Spire seems to be an extension of HMS?
Hey.
And should Chevy have kept Josh Berry over Ty Dillon for the 77 next year? First of all, I think Josh Berry is too good to go to the 77.
Yeah, he's too good. And secondly, top 10 for Lajoie in the 9 since Josh Berry's done it before. So
I think Lajoie will finish 13th, but I'm hoping for a top 10.
Yeah. Right now, Chevy's problem is they don't have a good ride. All the Hendrick guys have proved that they deserve to be there for a while. Well, one of them needs a slap on the wrist right now, but
Oh, and by the way, Kyle Busch won the pole, by the way, like easily.
Already? Qualifying's not until Friday.
Already hard.
All right. I went ahead and ended it.
Already
All right,
Danny, no, don't end it.
Beast of Metal 1989, appreciate the $5. Let's be blunt. The only impact this punishment will have is keeping the liability provider from bailing on the sport, a la State Farm in California.
Are they suggesting that like Geico would pull out of NASCAR if NASCAR didn't punish Chase Elliott for
I
wrecking?
love, bro. What is? I love these super chats.
That's because I read that one earlier and I was trying to figure out. I was like, what liability are they talking about? Geico, the car insurance company?
I don't know. They said the president like last year, bro.
Look, NASCAR is losing money. They're losing eyeballs. Like they're losing ticket sales by benching Chase Elliott this week. This was a hard decision for them to make.
It was hard.
So I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Cousin Rowdy, hope you're doing good, man. Appreciate the $1.99. If you thought this race was bad, you're not a fan. I agree. It was a good race overall.
I agree with that. There you go.
Power of the Poof. Appreciate the $5. Mike Joy. If we were in Kansas, the race would be over. We just passed 400 miles. Boyer. This ain't Kansas, Toto. Yeah, that seems exactly like what this.
Yeah,
did they say that?
That's it. I don't know. It
Did
sounds
they
like
say that?
Yeah.
It sounds like it. Yeah.
I could see them saying that.
I can see that. Yeah.
Marky Mark, appreciate the $5. Howdy, gents. And Eric. Okay, you're not a gent.
I am chewing on a guitar pick right now. That's kind of.
And then he said, well, okay, Eric, I'll include you this time.
Oh,
okay, you made it in. You're a gent.
I don't know if y'all see this in chat. Jesse Potts says Darian's laugh just made my dog bark at the TV. I mean, he says bow at the TV. I don't know.
Bow up,
bow
like head up.
Excuse me, bow up to the TV.
he didn't just say Darian's laugh. He said Darian's hyena laugh.
Hey, bro, something's really funny like that super chat.
Which hyena would it be? Ed?
There's
hyena?
different pitches. There's different pitches, I guess. There's and there's I guess there's got two different.
All right. Need for Speed 5353. Appreciate $2. Ty Dillon the JRM next year. Yeah. Okay.
You don't even believe that. You don't believe that.
more like learning Chinese next year.
Yeah. Enjoy the Formula 4 series, buddy.
Marky Mark, appreciate the $2. A bad weekend for Chase. Doesn't matter which one.
Which one?
True.
Tyler McGonigal, appreciate the $1.99. Fairies, Jarrett, did you find my super chat?
No, it didn't register on there. I looked in the back one too. I apologize.
Oh, that's YouTube's fault.
Yeah, thank you, YouTube. Dom Rock Chalk Jayhawk. Wow, that's a lot of rhyming there. Appreciate the $4.99. Karen Hendrick has ruined Ross Chastain. Huh?
What? What?
These are just getting more unhinged.
Yeah, you keep going, man. We don't know what the hell.
Brian M, appreciate the $5. I saw Darian behind the pagoda before the 500. You know you love Indy when you're willing to wait 3 hours after the race for traffic to clear.
Yep, indeed. Hey, if you see me, hey, say what's up, man. But hey, that freaking bee, those swarm was bees outside the track.
Yeah, that looked crazy.
That was crazy. They were like forming up and everything. Hey, I guess the queen bee wanted to race. I guess maybe, or actually, you know what? Maybe Gob wanted to see the race. Maybe. Oh no, excuse me. That's a fly. Never mind. Sorry.
Jimmy Leos, appreciate the $10. Hi guys, all of the races from this past weekend was great, including last night's NR Cup Series race. Also, a question for Eric: are you going to help out the Monday night iRacing Summer Bash?
Not sure. I probably won't be a part of the summer one. Just my schedule's extremely busy, but it's been fun working with them in the past. So we might, maybe in the near future, maybe their next season, but I don't think I'll be a part of the summer thing, unfortunately.
NASCAR Bluey Taco Bucks 924. Appreciate the $2 here. Thoughts on the Gran Turismo movie? They're making a movie?
What? Oh, it might be better than any of the fast movies.
What's it going to be about? A guy who sits in a menu with like smooth jazz playing, and all of a sudden you're racing.
Original ideas. Never heard of it.
If the movie doesn't have a lot of like smooth jazz in it, I'll be disappointed because that's what those games always had.
Yeah.
Tyler McGonigal, appreciate a generous $19.99 here. Josh Berry, would you rather a championship caliber Xfinity team where you know you'll win, or a subpar Cup team with no real hope of even winning a race? I think I'd have to take the Xfinity ride.
I'll take
Well,
the Xfinity ride.
But I don't think Stewart-Haas, especially like y'all said, that 4 car is not that hopeless. It's not good right now, but they have the resources to improve. They just have to figure it out.
Knowing where Barry's come from, I actually know his dad a little bit from the fishing scene here. I would have to see what that Cup Series contract looks like.
Yeah.
What's that money looking like?
Yeah, have him bring it to the fishing tournament.
Probably taking the cup ride in that one.
Yeah, definitely.
Austin Blanchett, appreciate the $1.99. I love all you guys. We love you too, random stranger.
Thank you.
That's very nice.
But
Sometimes
we know who that is. He's been watching forever.
Yeah, I know.
I'm kidding. I just want to
love
thank
you, random citizen.
Miles Gurley, appreciate the $1.99. I'm going to need one of those shirts, Eric.
Oh yeah,
One of these shirts. Oh
That's a
yeah,
nice
I guess so.
the
Nice
Sly
shirt.
Cooper 20th anniversary T-shirt. I think they're available on like the PlayStation store. That's where I got it.
Tyler McGonigal, appreciate another $4.99. You've been very generous tonight here, man. What happens, and this is pretty easy, what happens to the points, drivers, and owners if Corey wins at Gateway into number 9? Would that show it is the car, not the driver, this problem? I mean, absolutely it would absolutely show what a different car can do for somebody.
Yeah.
But what would happen? Corey would be locked into the drivers' playoffs. The 9 car would then be locked into the owners' playoffs. But it would be, owners playoffs then with Chase driving, and then Corey would go for drivers playoffs in the 7 after that.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing if like Todd Gilliland somehow won the 51 or something like that,
Right.
and it'd be in the 38 too.
Yeah.
So that's how that would work. Nick Mangona, appreciate the $2. Chase Elliott, private his Instagram account. Yep, we just mentioned that a few minutes ago. Ross Crash Stain, appreciate $2. Do we get another Chase's back ad? I hope so. And I hope they treat it like the WWE has treated Dominic Mysterio.
No.
Where he's been like, I was arrested. I did time.
Yeah.
I hope NASCAR treats it like
That'd
that.
be funny.
Bit. Dom, the race fan, appreciate the $4.99. What surprise winners do we get to finish out this regular season?
Michael McDowell.
Chase Briscoe gets the W somehow.
Honestly, if any of the SHR drivers besides Harvick gets one, I think that's a surprise at this point.
Yeah.
I'd say Brad. Lois, he's in the playoffs. Are we talking about someone who's outside the playoff picture?
Just a surprise guy, I guess.
I'd say Brad.
I wouldn't even call Brad a surprise at this point because I think he just should. So
yeah, he hasn't won a race in like 2 years, so I'll call that a surprise.
Yeah, true. Alessandro Sebastian, appreciate the $5. Manufacturer Chevy took it personal when Legacy Motor Club announced a manufacturer change of Toyota a few weeks back. They are saying F you with like 4 middle fingers they have.
Like, yep, that's it.
Awesome Blanchett, appreciate the $1.99. Chase did that to his Instagram weeks ago. Oh, I guess it was longer.
Yeah, still weak.
I'm sorry. It's like you were saying, Eric, if you were the most popular driver, you need to be an ambassador of sport. I don't care if you don't want to be the most popular. You are.
I don't
Yeah, it's like with great power comes great responsibility. You have an amazing platform.
I can tell someone behind the scenes that's trying to force them to do this. They started a Chase Elliott YouTube channel, and everything they do just feels it just feels so weird anytime I watch something on it.
Oh, and I even say the same thing even back in the 2010s when it took Dale Jr. winning a 500 to get on Twitter. It's like, dude, you're the most popular driver. Like, get out there.
Come on.
Yeah. And now he tweets all the time.
Yeah, you can't get that man. He's addicted.
Yeah.
Yeah, he sees more than you know on Twitter these days.
Yeah. What the heck do they upload on that Chase Elliott YouTube channel? I gotta check it out.
It's interesting. Chase Elliott, the most wanted, appreciate the $4.99. This isn't the first time he's private his Insta account. He did like a month ago, I think. So
you know what you should do?
Another one? Man.
You should do a stream where he's working on his plane. Just do something like that. It's something completely out there. It's something that's uniquely him, and it's something that nobody, like, people be like, wow, this NASCAR driver knows how to work on a plane engine. That's honestly pretty cool. I'll turn it on for 5 minutes for ambient noise.
I agree.
And like, hey, someone don't care about copyright claims. Play some rock music. Do something like that.
Yeah.
Hey, we all have more subs than Chase Elliott.
This comment's so mean. I've met Chase twice. He's a doorknob in real life.
What?
Jeez.
Oh my god. Hey, keep going.
I just saw the last one. Let's keep going. I want to see
All
Danny
right,
read it.
all right. Let's keep going. Napa Racing Fan 927. Appreciate the $5. NASCAR, go bold with the 2024 schedule. Bring back Rock, Brickyard 400, Bank of America 500, Road America, Chicagoland, Fairgrounds. Add
Ooh.
Iowa and Milwaukee.
Oh, that sounds cool. That sounds cool to
Jeez.
me. I
If you
like
put it
that.
like that, maybe we can get it to where it's one race or one date per track.
Yeah,
Full schedule.
yeah.
I mean, or
let's
we'll
bring
just
all
do
those
that
tracks.
rumor of doing 42 races a year. Why not?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I kid. Seriously, keep it at 36 or down.
Yeah.
You don't want to go back to the 60 plus we had back in the day?
Yeah.
Nope.
Maybe
I got short
racing,
track racing.
Maybe the Race Team Alliance, their little off-season exhibition series. We'll go to all those tracks.
Maybe it'll go to Chinese. Get ready to learn Chinese, buddy. Isaac Chaos State. Appreciate $1.99. Does Rickware Racing sell one of its 2 charters? If so, who buys? I think with Cody Ware being basically done at this point, there's a good possibility. And I would say maybe Brad wants to buy one, add a third team to him.
You got to pay for those
And,
legal damages some way.
Danny and Michael Jordan are going to be on it.
Instead of learning Chinese, Cody Ware is learning how to get on his knees.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Too
Tyler
far, man.
Tyler
Too far.
McGargle, appreciate the $4.99. Aaron Blaney finally got to go to victory lane for brother after going 5 times with Williams since Blaney's last win. Wow.
Damn.
Wow. Damn. Crazy.
It's nothing. Appreciate the $5. Weekly question: who is the next driver to get their first win? Corey Lajoie, maybe, or
Yeah.
Ryan Preece?
Ty Gibbs.
The next winless driver?
Yeah, Ty Gibbs. Yeah.
Yeah,
Ty
Ty Gibbs.
Gibbs.
Yeah.
But second, I would say maybe Ryan Preece. That could happen. Gob, appreciate the $4.99. How will the Elliott suspension affect the Raising Cane's coleslaw to Texas toast ratio going forward? Now, these are the important questions. Why have you guys been wasting your money on these other questions?
Hey,
We need to talk about Raising Cane's.
I gotta let y'all know, man. Like, this has become like one of my most favorite parts of the podcast. The very end with the super chats, because these super chats are
They get funny.
Yeah.
Darian, is there Raising Cane's in Nashville?
They're literally open one today.
Oh, that's great. Darian, are you excited? I know it's got to be tough moving away from Raising Cane's country.
And here in Hendersonville, they just bulldozed a Mexican restaurant and they're building a Raising Cane's right next to Slim Chickens.
That
There you
Mexican
go.
restaurant actually burned a hole through my stomach after I ate at it. I'm kind of happy.
I don't trust.
But hey, we watched the Titans beat the Packers in that Mexican
And
restaurant.
then they
was
never
worth
won. And then proceeded never to win another game the rest of the year.
Okay, yeah, I don't want to talk about that part. It's nothing. Appreciate the $2. I have a question for Eric. Who is the 49th best driver?
Well, let me look at my list.
So specific.
That's
give him-
random.
No, Eric. More backstory. He asked me the same question in like my Q&A thing.
I've got Jeff Bodine listed as number 49 on my list.
I'm just curious. Who do I have? I have Neil Bonnet as number 49.
I had Harry Gant.
I'm not giving mine up yet.
Selfish.
No.
Damn right.
Alex Luff, appreciate the $5. If we're talking about the Gran Turismo movie, is anyone going to see the new Transformers movie? Honestly, I ain't seen a Transformer movie in
Bro,
so long. I'm probably not going
Did
to.
y'all see where that movie theater? It screwed up the trailer and had Transformers and the Little Mermaid playing at the same time on the projector, and it looks
gosh.
amazing.
Yeah,
Oh
probably
my
would make
God.
both movies better.
Show me that later if you can find it.
I will.
Yeah.
Tyler McGonigal, appreciate it, $9.99. This super chat money is for Danny to buy Jarrett some chicken nuggets and a shake of his liking. Iceberg supremacy.
Oh, nice. There you go.
All right.
I like that. I like that. I like that. You like that.
Gary Buki, appreciate the $5. Big question. What are y'all's favorite music genres? No lame. I like all music. Cop outs.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of rap and R&B with me. That's what I grew up on. You know, and a lot of country too, like from my mom. So I grew up on that.
I mean,
as well.
When I'm just chilling, I want to have the radio on. I usually go to country, but when I'm just listening to music on my phone, I have surprisingly a ton of rock on my phone.
Yeah, mostly a lot of rock and metal music, but I do occasionally like to slow things down, listen to a lot of classical stuff. I've been listening to a lot of Elvis lately.
I With mine, Danny.
Which I guess Elvis is the king of rock and roll, so I guess that's still rock.
No.
Well, okay, I do listen to a lot of different stuff, but recently I've actually been putting my earbuds in and falling asleep to Slayer. So metal, all metal. I'm serious. I'm serious. I'm serious. I fall asleep to like Slayer and Pantera. Like it soothes me.
Hey, I heard there's a new genre out there. It's called the Swifty genre. Apparently nowadays.
I mean, as long as I don't have to listen to that stupid Dirty Mo raps ever again.
Why?
Bro, when he's
like, you have jumped the shark.
Bro, y'all heard this Dirty Mo raps, yo.
Stick to Denny Hamlin hot takes. Don't do that some more.
Hey,
bro. No offense to Tyler Gray. Very talented.
Bro.
But that's just not for me.
Hey, who set that man up? Somebody set that man up, bro. They lied to him, bro. They were like, "Oh, this is cool." They were like yeah. Like, nah, bro.
I don't know who's gonna show up to his concert, but as soon as he starts going, it's gonna be a complete whiteout because that was about the whitest thing I've ever heard.
That's why you got friends that are like, be honest with you all the time. Be like, nah, don't do this to yourself. Like, okay, I got you.
Okay, these guys know some backstory, but I'd rather listen to Tim Duggar sing a song about NASCAR.
Yeah, we get out everybody today.
Damn,
we got everybody. I like this day.
We're like NASCAR. We're just launching tactical nukes at everyone tonight.
Yeah.
But anyways, we'll move on from there. NASCAR
I like this comment. Oh, I listen to mostly metal, and then I think they meant to say thrash, but they wrote trash specifically.
I listen to all the trash bands.
Why listen to trash metal, aka they listen to Machine Gun Kelly.
There it is. They put an asterisk. Thrash. There you go.
Yeah, trash metal is Machine Gun Kelly.
Machine Gun Kelly. Yeah.
No. Trash metal is where the drums are just literally trash cans.
Oh no! Hey, remember when hey Jared, remember on the way home I played Lil Pump's attempt at metal.
Yeah, Darren, you had me like rethinking whether or not I wanted to live.
All right, they keep sending super chats. They're gonna keep me up all night. All right, yeah. NASCAR Bluey Taco Box 924. Appreciate $2. The Gran Turismo movie commercial was during the Indy 500. Okay, cool. I didn't get a chance to watch most of the Indy 500. Apologize. Me and Claudia was in a fishing tournament on Sunday. So, Alex Luff, appreciate the $5. Pete Davidson from SNL is voicing one of my favorite Transformers.
Random. Okay.
It's random. He was at the Daytona 500 this year, whether he wanted to be or not. He was there.
I don't know how I'd feel if my favorite character was voiced by a crackhead.
Yeah.
They're taking shots at everyone.
Bro, everybody tonight.
Boom, 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 boom.
Oh my god.
He might be a crackhead, but apparently he can get any woman he wants.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
I mean, if you're seeing the caliber, I mean, there's a little Photoshop involved, but whatever.
Jay Fendi, appreciate the $10 there from Jay Fendi. What do you guys think of an exhibition race at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta? I think it'd be an interesting concept. Ooh. Saw Gen 7 at Atlanta Falcons car in front of the stadium back in November. I mean, if the Clash can work, that could work too.
I don't know if there's enough space. Maybe they could do something inside. Maybe there's a street course possibility. But
I just laugh at the roof opening.
Yeah, it's close to Charlotte that it could work.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but Atlanta Super Speedway has been selling out at least one race a year the last 2 years. I don't see them.
But maybe that's an all-star race idea one year,
Maybe.
Gary Buki, appreciate the $2. Another $2 for the two based metal enjoyers. Alrighty, cool.
There you go.
Tyler McGonigal, appreciate the $4.99. Last one of the night, only to realize that once again, Danny is the one I have my money to all night. One day I'll do it for you, Jarrett. Good night.
Well, so nice. Let me just put on the bottom here. You guys can actually see the upcoming shows that we're going to be having. And you can see right which day you can pay all of us or any of us, or if you want to avoid me, I get that too. But there you go. All on the bottom. There's all the upcoming shows.
All right.
And that wasn't all of them, but Alex Love, appreciate the $5. If you were Transformers, what would you turn into? Could be either a vehicle or an animal, since they added that into it.
Oh my goodness.
I'd turn into damn, I don't know.
A Ram 1500.
A Ram 1500.
I would turn into one of those massive Caterpillar dump trucks, because then when I become a transformer, I'm probably freaking huge at that point.
I don't
Danny
know.
got that dump truck.
I don't know.
Man.
I would turn into a Beetle Volkswagen. There you go.
I'd turn into an Apache attack helicopter.
I'd be like a space shuttle. I think that'd look kind of cool.
and instead of hearing actual gunshot noises, you just hear pew 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 pew
Yeah.
pew pew.
Hey, do y'all remember the Transformers movie where there was literally zero backstory to why Dale Earnhardt Jr., Juan Pablo Montoya, and Jimmy Johnson's cars were all of a
Yeah, I
sudden
remember that. It was
Transformers?
the first one without Megan Fox.
Yeah.
I was hoping that there would be some kind of like just little scene where like Dale, Juan, and Jimmy are like, where the heck did our cars go?
Where did our cars go?
My-
It never came.
My dad actually sent me that and said, "Hey, Jarrett, look, NASCAR is ready for the Chicago street race." I was like, "Damn, Dad."
Oh, damn.
Well, it was in Chicago.
Yeah, like I was hoping for a scene at Chicagoland where they're just like, where are our cars going?
But yeah, it's so random. It's so random.
Stepbot, not Stepbot, Sheepbot 05YT, appreciate $2. At least Tyler is better than NBA Youngboy.
Oh my gosh, he's not. Nah, he's just trolling. I mean, NBA, he's nah. Forget about
And
it.
this is the last one for
Troll.
now. Isaac Chaos Stain, appreciate $1.99. Transformers equals trash can.
Damn. Yeah, that's
Why
how I
are
feel
we
about
really
the
going
Fast
to
and Furious movies.
Transformers
What a
for
way-
story.
What a way, yeah. I want to see the biggest explosions that he can think of. Oh, we got one more. here.
Just one more. Hopefully the last one.
Gob, appreciate the $4.99. Best Transformers movie is G-Force. Guinea pigs versus household appliances.
Guys, let's just look at the camera. We all know why most people over the age of about 15 are going to Transformers movies. And it's not even the explosions.
Yeah.
I don't know who's in these movies these days.
Doesn't
I don't
matter.
know.
Doesn't matter. We
Like,
all know
like-
why people watch them.
All I know is Shia LaBeouf was in it, and then it was Mark Wahlberg, and now I don't know who it is.
Actual cannibal Shia LaBeouf.
No.
As much as I like this idea from JFB48 to keep sending me money, y'all probably should
Yeah.
stop at this point because
We
we
need-
need to end the show.
We need to go to
Yeah.
bed.
All right. You can catch us next week over on Eric's channel. Make sure that you subscribe to him. If you're not, I'm really surprised that you're not. We'll be live there Wednesday night, June 7th, 8 p.m. Eastern time, where we'll discuss everything that happened at Gateway in Portland. Hopefully Ross and Denny behaved this year. And I think that's it.
I just
Yeah.
was thinking it's June. I'm just thinking of when we all had that one race watch along party over at your house, Danny. Jared,
Oh.
it's June.
Oh yeah. That's right.
Inside
Feels like
joke,
yesterday.
inside
And
joke.
and
I get
NWP
it.
After Dark.
Yeah,
Feels
very
like
much.
yesterday.
Right.
Feels like
All right.
yesterday.
We need to go. Bye-bye.
Yep. Hey, Chase Elliott, say come on 3. 1, 2, 3, come
Hell
on.
yeah.
Get ready to learn Chinese, buddy.
What the copy? Right foot down. We had to go flat. Unbelievable, man. Way to keep your head in it. Holy oh boy. Oh boy. Yeah. What? Yeah. I'm done with it. It's your face. Set sail. Steve, you look beautiful. Doing great.